Ready? Let's pray. Father, we come to you asking for wisdom, and we ask you to direct our paths and help us to plan appropriately for our county. We ask you to bless our county and bless our state and bless our nation. In Jesus' name we ask. Amen.
Amen.
All right, we call our work session to order. Justin, you wanted to speak to the commission. You want to stand up there and talk about what's on your mind?
Most of them, all of them look familiar, huh?
Y'all, I just assume y'all all know each other. Justin, I think he's in your district, right? You are Abernathy chief.
I got Laura and Terry. But I'm Justin Johnson. First, I'm going to come to you, fire department. It's becoming a regular issue at Abernathy, and it's not more one problem in Laura's district as it is Terry's, but the burning of household garbage, we're seeing it more and more and more. Back in the day, and I know all of us is old enough, we all used to burn trash at one time, and but as we learned over the years and things has developed, we know our cancer rate's up. We're seeing a lot of issues with our developmental statuses that they're being altered. You get people in the community, they call 911, and it's not really considered an emergency because it's just a burn barrel out there in the middle of the front yard smoking. It's not out of control. It's not really hurting anything other than it's just smoking up the neighborhood and everything else. So that turns in from a 911 call into a personal telephone call. Our members at Abernathy, you know, sometimes I'm available, sometimes I'm not. The times that I'm not available and I send somebody over there, and we found out in the past that you go over there and put the trash out, that really ticks them off. And then you see the call volumes of woods fires, and that gets into a whole different other thing of you got to call forestry, or we'll have to take a fire truck out and drag hose up the bank and through the woods trying to get houses put out or woods put out and everything else. And it's becoming more and more of a problem. And there is no evidence of this. It's just coming right around and seeing what's going on. A lot of Cleburne County is becoming Georgia residences now. They're moving over here, and they just I guess they've heard stories of Cleburne County. It's just a laid back county, and very good county to live in. But they come into this household trash issue. You know, you got this small receptacle. Somebody like my house, we can survive off of that. We know how to crush our drink bottles. We know how to deflate our milk cartons, right, and get the full use out of that trash bag. I'm tight what, as Laura knows. Mark, y'all know me outside here, but you got to get all of that use out of that can that you possibly can. My family can do that, but if you got more kids than just my two and a wife and, you know, a 4-person household, it's tough fitting this garbage in this trash can. Some things don't go in that trash can, and me and Lee's discussed that, whether it might be a tire that you changed on your tractor or you pick up a truck, and there is a facility for that, but that poses a problem to the effect of, if you're not even a registered Cleburne County, somebody that lives in Cleburne County, you can't go to I don't think you can go to the convenience center. So then that's where Sam Locke gets involved, and that's where his report comes from. He's collecting garbage off the pipelines and dirt roads, and It's just, I see us going backwards, and I don't know what we can do.
Can I ask you something, Jessica? I feel like that because our eyes only can be on so much, but we all have to take ownership. In other words, if you see a resident burning household garbage, you need to contact our environmentalists because they're violating a law. And we're gonna have to work together to make the changes. We know you've got people that don't have a trash can. If you see that, we need to know that. I know that it puts y'all in an awkward position, but we all want to make our county better. So let's all work together and start calling these in. Or you call me. Just call me.
The only effective way that we're gonna be able to resolve this, and that's one of the, like I said, it's one of the reasons why I'm here, is we're gonna have to come up with some sort of a reporting system or something that me as a chief can sign in and potentially send it to, if it's in Mark's district or Emmett's district or something, and start doing some CC or something. I mean, we've all got smartphones now. We can email from our phone. We can take pictures. This filling reports out and things like we used to do it's not working.
Yeah, it's just, like I said, anytime you have someone, especially in my district, I want to know, send it to me, and I'll handle it on our end.
Okay.
Yeah,
Comment?
one of the things I know Laura has worked diligently on, and I don't understand why this can't happen, and it's really helped great in my district, and I know it's helped in other districts, especially Terry's district, is to have a convenience center out there. There's nobody that will up and either sell us an acre of land or donate an acre of land. Of all the land that's sitting around up there with broken down trailers and everything else, I can't believe there ain't an acre of land we can get to do. And a convenience center would help a lot. When people try to put stuff in a trash can, we're really, they might drop it off in a convenience center. They're paying for it.
Well,
But they just, you gotta come all the way to Heflin to use it.
Well, that goes back to what I said just a second ago.
Yeah.
If you're not I'm not trying to stir up a lot of dust here, nothing like that, but if you're not registered, if your mobile home or your camper or whatever that you're living in is not registered, you can't dump in that convenience center.
But the issue is, if they have a resident, if they're living in Cleburne County, they have to have garbage pickup. They have to have it, that's the law.
So that's the second point. You want to report the burning, but we need a way to
But
figure
that's what I
out.
said, which Lee, if he is, his department, if they know that they don't have a can, they write them a citation. But you can have somebody out there today, and tomorrow, you may find 15 more. But it's hard. We all need to be accountable. We all need help. If you see somebody that's burning, or if you see someone you see for 2 weeks, you've not seen it, or a month, you've not seen a trash can out there, report them.
This is how we wind up going back down the same road that we've been down before. The only way that we're gonna do this is if we can, as a chief, as Abernathy Fire Chief, we can attach that picture right then. Because when I say something, they'd be a fool to burn trash for the rest of the week, possibly the rest of that month.
Right.
And
Terry's asked.
We've already got stuff in place.
Yeah.
You're supposed to have garbage. We have environmental. All you gotta do is email Miss Merle.
With the picture.
Everything's already in place. We don't need to create something new.
maybe that's something that we need to make sure we touch base with our fire departments, because that's one of the things
Well, right now, we're doing a new website for the county. Maybe this is a link that we can add to, if we'll get with Tanya on this, we'll get with her and see if this is something where we're doing a whole new county website where all the departments are coming together, whether it's trash, engineering firm, whatever, so.
Mark?
I think that we could probably do a better job of communicating to the public what they can and can't do. Because if burning household garbage, is it in the code, or is it just the garbage mandate?
Explain that,
So-
so you can burn, but.
So that's what, so every resident is supposed to have the garbage can. And in the code, it says, you know, no, not to be burning household garbage. But that's the reason the cans is there. When it comes to actually writing citations, we don't write the citations for the actual burning. We write the citation for you don't have a can. So when you go to that house and they're burning their garbage, you turn around, you send Jeannie an email saying, I was at this address and they was burning garbage. So then she turns around, she checks with the active customer list. If they're not on the active customer list, then we issue a citation to that owner for not having the garbage can. So then it goes back to the convenience centers, like I said, every house is supposed to have a registered thing, so every house should be able to use the convenience center. If for some reason they don't, and they can't use the convenience center, there's a thing there for like the city of Heflin, they can pay by the truckload to use the convenience center. Then there's always the other dumps. You got a dump in Calhoun County, you got a dump in Waco. The people that are dumping the garbage are gonna dump the garbage. It ain't that they don't have options, it said they choose not to use them.
That's partially true. The other side of that coin is, it goes back to, if they're not even legally living here, that poses the concern of, that's why we've got our sheriff's department going back and forth to the same residents. That's why you got repetitive, you hear Cleburne EMS, and we're going out there doing lift assist, and you got taxpayers over here, they're doing things right. They've got their stickers, they're paying their taxes, they go down there and they pay Ryan or fixing to be lane, and they pay for their tags, and they doing things right. And you got these folks over here on the other side that, I mean, they're burning trash and burning leaves and no consideration for nobody, and that's where we're going.
Ms. Cotton?
The other thing is too, if they're burning, correct me, Lou, if they're burning cans, any harmful paint can, any type of products like that, it becomes environmental, which we contact Montgomery on that.
Our commercial
So
places
if they're
on private
doing
property
stuff,
are-
if they're burning
they're-
stuff that's harmful, then we normally will reach out to Montgomery and have them to come out. And we've done that numerous times. And have them to come out.
And when this happens, what I was saying with this, and because landowners have had to pay for that cleanup before.
Yes.
So if you got a landowner that's letting people pile in there, and you call and go through this process, it's gonna go to the landowner.
So right now, you're just saying that if he sees something, he just needs to report it to Jenny. Does he have, you have that email address?
He
Well, she
will
can-
send it.
He can even contact me because,
And you can
you
send
know,
it out.
I handle.
What would be better, talking about fire departments, what would be better to do is let me just send an email to the fire.
Give them that information.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good enough.
Okay.
That's resolved.
That way it's just one.
Can I do one more?
Sure, sure, sure.
So, and Lee might throw rocks at me for saying this,
I would.
but,
He's out of rocks.
lot of y'all know that I've lived here, my whole family has resided here, in Cleburne County for quite some time, and, for a long time, I love, working on the roads, and I love just doing things, just outside, just doing things, and it's always, I'm not gonna say it's been a dream job, but it just would be extremely nice to just be able to just stay right here in this county. And we've got the opportunity, I see in front of us. There is no way that the study that we have just got done, there is no way that could be accurate. I'm not talking about, I don't have any degrees or anything like that, but you don't have to have one to know that you can't support a family on what we're trying to pay this road department. And I'm not gonna get into, what we do at the revenue, what we do at the probate, what we do here and there. That is above my head. But what I do know is, with going to the grocery store and having a power bill and stuff that we all have, you can't make ends meet on that. And, Lee, I have high respects for you, but, I'm sorry, but there ain't gonna be any roads getting fixed. There's not gonna be any, I mean, we might be able to cut some limbs out of the road, but a lot of that's gonna be volunteer work. That's not even in the right ballgame. I wish that we could come together and come to a mutual agreement on this, because I would love to be able to one day have some retirement and just work in the county. We've got all around us, we've got economic growth, and that's great that we've got somebody trying to get more economy in here. That's wonderful. But if we don't have the roads, if we can't worry about it, get our trash situation under control and all of that, that's kind of putting the cart and the horses in the wrong place. We appreciate y'all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Fred?
Morning. This morning I did the check in the jail, and there's a bunch of stuff wrong that needs to be addressed pretty soon. The plumbing is pretty much shot in the back. The lights keep on getting messed with by the inmates and getting taken down and dismantled for whatever reason. I got some pictures and I got a checklist I want to pass around to y'all, let y'all look at. And it'll be filed over here in her office.
Just provide us all copies.
I will. Y'all want to see the pictures too? And the floor is rusted out in several spots. You can stick a hand all the way through it.
I mean,
Your hands in one?
You can stick the hand all the way through the floor because it's rusted out so bad in the cell.
Yeah. Yeah.
That needs to be addressed pretty soon. We closed the cell down.
yeah, just add it to the report.
Okay. Anything else y'all want to hear about?
Is this, I mean, you're talking about the floor, how did this happen? I mean, I guess that's what I'm asking.
Well, people
How
think-
did it just now come up? Why has
It's
that
been an
not been
ongoing
brought-
problem for years. I've been passionate when I worked there. And slowly, it's just, people urinate on the floor, it's just rotted out. It's the acid from the urine just eats away at the metal.
But I guess what I'm saying, why was this problem not addressed earlier?
It's been addressed, ma'am. It's been covered up. People have been painted over, and finally it's just rotted out. It's
Is this in
been
the
painted over
showers?
probably 20 times over the 20 years.
Is this in the showers or what?
No, it's right outside the shower.
But
It's
I
right
guess what
around
I'm
the
saying,
floor.
why was it not repaired way before now?
It has been repaired now.
It's been repaired,
It's
but
been
it's-
ground down to bare metal, primed, and painted over. That's all you can do to it.
Oh, okay.
But now it's going all the way through to the next cell down below.
Quick question, since we're dealing with metal, could we go in there and weld us a new,
So we have to put a plate over to solid, yeah.
yeah, that's what I'm saying, so that's the fix, right?
Yeah. we show
So,
you.
so sand it off, cut it out,
Yeah, it's been a problem for
Yeah.
a long time, and we have tried even I think Fred even tried the, bed liner,
Yeah, two-part epoxy.
and just nothing, and it's just, over the years, it's just finally broke through.
That's it.
What about stainless steel or galvanized metal?
The cells are supposed to be made out of galvanized metal, but
What about, have you tried stainless steel?
when you weld stainless steel to galvanize, it's going to create a gas that you'll have to clean the whole block out pretty much.
The thing of it is with that piece of metal, if you'll just take and cut it out back to good metal, sand it off, and put your plate right back in there, same thickness.
I would just go over it right around the toilet.
Well, however we do it, but cut the rust out first, so if you don't cut the rust out, it's gonna eat twice as fast.
Yeah.
So let's just cut it out. If you don't mind it being a step up, it'd be even easier if you just cut a plate and lay back over it and weld it back in on the top side. I don't know if I would weld it, I think I would brace it. Because that way you just go in with a set lane, just come out there and just brace it back in place.
I think Brady would hold this out there.
Brace it?
And these are all top floors,
Yeah,
right?
it's like, well, you got a sprinkler system in between them, plastic pump drill.
You can't, I mean, you can't get to it from the
There's a
underside,
flat sheet.
even though it's on the top floor, because there's the sail beneath it, you can't.
Is it in there?
Yeah, we wired that in the past, all the way
Yeah,
to
but when you go in their sale, they got a toilet at the end of the bed, right?
No, there's a toilet in the bed and a shower in each cell.
And so and where the biggest problem is for the jail is around the toilet and the shower, as you step out, because that's where all the damn, and plus it's just, there's a lot of humidity in that jail at all times anyway.
I got a picture of it inside the cell if y'all wanna see it.
Yeah.
All the cells.
If you could do that report for them, and then you can get an idea of what the cost is gonna be,
Okay.
and then,
So it's all the upstairs and all the cells, Slang? All the cells?
Majority of it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
So
they're
what
the
do
ones
we
that
do
got
on
the
one?
metal floors, the
All I'm
bottom
saying is, we
cell
get
are
ready to do
concrete.
something like that, we get all the plates set there, if we need to hire, I would recommend Tommy Austin, he's semi-retired, he'd come in there and knock it out, or the guy that, John's been using from the doors. This buddy out there in Ramblin', what's his name?
Langley.
Langley.
Yeah, Langley. Or we get, I know,
We got-
all I'm saying is you can get, now they got a little, they got the little electric portable welders now that runs off battery. I never thought that much about them, but last time they worked at the piano building, I was like, what is that? And they just brought it in there and set it down, and they welded like about an hour and a half of that thing. I mean,
And this is the quality you're talking about too, if you remember, way back 22 years ago, the bunks, which are metal, hooked onto a metal wall, the metal was just ripping, that's how thin this metal was, it was just, the bands were ripping off the wall. And, you know, I think we split the cost with the builder, and we had to go in there and put braces on all of them to keep the metal from ripping. So, you know, we're not
so
talking
they
about.
didn't have standing post out like they are now. Y'all added those.
We added
Oh,
them.
that there was,
If we had them, we wouldn't have bands left,
no, you're exactly right.
yeah.
so he's gonna provide y'all this and a recommendation and maybe a general idea of the cost, if y'all look at that, that sound good?
Yeah.
It'll be our direction.
It's very obvious the sales need to be handled pretty quick before somebody gets injured.
Yeah, I used to go
Well,
through,
they'll stop a hole through the floor. They love to destroy stuff, believe me.
when the cell number went down low, we would close one pod off. I would go in there and totally redo the whole pod, and we get back to that again.
Okay.
Is there any way you can just email that report to us?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, one thing it is, if we're gonna do this, we need to get it where we've got a price, material on the job, and then that way when we go into that pod, we can get it done, and we don't go in there and spend one time looking at it again, but whoever we bring in, because pretty much all of them the same,
Yeah, all of them
that's
same.
what I thought. So, one plate, even if the plate's a little bigger, I'd rather go a little bigger with the plate, grind it off and go over it.
And some of the stainless steel toilets are rusting out in the P-trap, there's no fix for it. I took them out, took them to different welders.
Now, we replaced one, did we get it?
We did replace one, it's in there, it's
And
working
those are
fine.
like, did you ever
$1,700
did you ever find out, did you ever get that one from Rampart? They had one over there in Rampart that they was gonna do the sale and they never used it, just sitting over there. Did you ever follow up on that?
I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
The
Who was you
toilets-
telling me that one, Terry?
The toilets are $1,700 a piece.
Yeah, they're $700 a piece for them toilets.
If they got one over, I'll check on it.
Yeah, they did have one, they was gonna do the sale and they bought the toilet and they never used it. I forgot who was telling me about it, but those things are expensive.
Who bought the cell out of Rammer City?
Yeah, well, they was gonna put it in a sale out there.
Oh, okay.
I forgot who
At
told me
Rammer
about it.
City?
That'd be bad, so they'll
Yeah,
see
bring it on.
something in the last-
Yeah, I seen it. All right, so you gonna get a report for them and a recommendation.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, Fred.
All right.
Any other questions, Fred? Okay, thank you. Lane, you got anything?
No, the sheriff, just wanted to tell y'all that he's not here because they've got TV crews or whatever.
Yeah,
Press conference,
yeah,
so.
yeah.
Clay may have something for you about those Doblers.
Clay, you got
You got
anything?
that quote?
Yes.
So, we've had issues with the cell doors. American Attention is who we use for locks, doors, and Lee Dennis, he come out with, I can't remember who his partner was, but they come and kind of toured the jail to see about the doors. The doors are kind of rough shape as it is. I think you've seen our church door. It's, the hinges are pretty much coming off. I mean, we're talking 20 years of this stuff just building up, so. We got a quote from American Attention this is to replace 8 pod doors, and that is the doors where the inmates are that hold them in their blocks. For 8 of them, that is $40,000 to replace the doors. They also gave us a quote to replace the isolation and detox doors, which, I mean, those are probably the most damaged doors because that's where they usually beat on those doors when they're in isolation. To replace those doors, just those 2 doors are $11,000 a piece, and that includes the window in it and a little trap for like if you have to sit there with trays in there, because sometimes you have a combative inmate, you initially don't want to go give them their stuff, you want to go through that trap instead of trying to fight them to give them their stuff.
And you get 2 of those?
Yes, sir, 2 of those.
That's on top of the 40?
That's on top of the 40.
Okay.
And I can give each one of y'all this quote, so y'all can look over it.
You have everybody's email?
I believe I do, if not, I can get it.
I want to say this too on these doors.
Hold on, let's all come to the chair. We all,
Okay.
I think, when you go first.
One of the things I say on these doors is what's the worst thing, and I've dealt with metal doors all my life. What the worst thing that you can ever do with those metal doors, and I've been over there and experienced and seen it firsthand, the door closer is almost more important than the door.
And
when you start slamming those doors, and it's just continuously being slammed, and it's going to be sad, and because we need to really make sure that they're looking at the frame too.
Yes.
And then when the screws are loose, they need to be a weekly check, or at least a check on those doors when the screws start backing out, putting Loctite on them, make sure they stay tight, because that's what happens, the biggest thing. Because I don't think there's a good door closer in the whole building.
That's my fault. On down in the quote, of course, there's more money involved with it, but they gave us 3 options of hinges to go with that as well. You got a continuing hinge, a heavy-duty weld-on hinge, and the full. It's a little bit thicker of a hinge.
How long is that long hinge? How much is that?
How much?
The continuously.
The weld-on continuous hinge is $6,500.
For all the doors?
That would probably be,
Say doors.
yeah, it says quantity 10 for that, so.
So you got 6 in the back, 8 in the back, and 2 up front. That'd be the best money you spend on them.
You got that, and he did show us the other 2 hinges, and they're the heavy duty hinge, which is
It's only 4 inches, 4.5 inches.
5 inches. So it's $5,500 for it. The continuous hinge is what he recommended them to. The continuous hinge is what's a lot of other jails that have replaced theirs they're going to, and a lot of them are liking it. Now, I have not spoken with other jails that have them, but that's just what come from Mr. Dennis.
Okay.
Ms. Todd, did you have a question?
I'm just looking at the calls.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this.
A little over $70,000.
So let me ask you this, on the doors, does that include the heavy duty door closer?
From my understanding, yes. I mean, that would be them bracing with it, from my understanding. Now, it could be.
Just find out door closer, number two on your door closer is one of the door closers are on inside the door.
That was.
Blows my mind.
Yeah. And that was one thing we brought up in that.
I think that was supposed to include door closers on the outside.
Yes.
Exactly right.
Yeah. And that was one thing, I think Lane and the sheriff brought that up pretty quickly about that. He said they could do that. I believe he did say that was included on the quote.
And the glass in the door.
And the glass, yeah. Well, it would be glass, it would be, what was that?
Some were plexiglass.
Yeah, because we've had issues with glass that easily break, and once they break that, we have issues then. But on the doors, in the 8 doors in the back, that would be the little glass, like we have now. So, and then the up front, the only difference will be just that little trap.
Right.
Yes, sir. Thank you for asking.
Is there any way next year you can put all this stuff in the budget? I mean, we're two months into the budget and you're already coming back and asking for $100,000.
Well, I'm bringing what's problems we're seeing, because we're going through, walk through. So I'm bringing to you what we have, and that's the quote that I've got. We have had, like I said, Mr. Langley was working on that one door, because we are missing one door. And I wasn't a part of that, so I hadn't talked to him. So I tried to call him, which, if we don't go with Mr. Langley, I'm gonna have to go get that door anyways, because Mr. Dennis, if we do go through him, we would need that door to kind of go based off of what we need.
Right.
And it would be a heavier duty door than what we have now. But, I
We
would guess.
we tried for a year to go through, try to find somebody local that can do it at a fraction of the cost, and we've kind of lost communication with Mr. Langley. So obviously he can't.
At some point, you just gotta
You
get
can't
it
do it.
though, and, put it in the budget, something this big. If it was $10,000, I can sort of understand it, but what you're throwing out there and what the maintenance guy just threw out there, I mean, it's over $100,000. I mean, that's something you should stick in the budget.
Yeah, and I was glad to do this, and now we're doing an inspection. So we did an inspection today, and this was brought up just a few weeks ago, just as an option we're looking at, because eventually we're going to replace the doors, and this is, but a lot of time.
Ms.
The
Cotton, and ask-
question here, our question should be, what risk factor are we looking at right now with these problems?
I mean, for one, when we have church, we have a door that, y'all are glad, y'all are happy to come look at it. The door will not close unless you shut it completely. You have to lift it up to close, okay? Say that does not close correctly, we get combative inmates in the church when they're having service, and they could get out in the hallway. But, we have other doors to secure them from actually leaving the jail. See what I'm saying? So,
Okay,
but
I guess
there's,
my biggest question is, with all of these that's going on,
Uh-huh.
what we need to address now are what the risk factors are. If you've got something, any of these problems that are a big risk factor, then we need to take care of them if we have to dip into our rainy day fund. Because these, we can't risk a lawsuit. We can't risk someone getting hurt or someone getting out and getting into the wrong areas. So we need to address the most critical now. So you need to bring to us what is the most critical part.
Let's talk about something else too for just a minute. With this kind of money, does this not need to be considered a different way?
Yeah.
It would have to be.
I'm just looking at our risk.
Well, I know, but with this portion, it should be bidded out, really, this and only. But you probably only have limited.
Companies that you got that will deal with these things.
I do not know. That's the problem, is we haven't.
Because there's only a few people that deal in doors.
I just wonder what,
But
what kind of,
but you still have to go through the steps and
Yeah.
having the bid sent out, and then if you only get one quote, then you only get one quote, and then they make you, I'll reach out to ACCA, and they'll make their recommendations, or the examiners will make their recommendations of what.
But as far as repairs to those doors, they have repaired those doors. You see where they've been welded, the hinges has come off. Them doors have been patched for at least the past 10 years.
Yeah, they're almost beyond, they're beyond patching.
Yeah, because now your doors are coming apart and there's nothing to fix.
well, let's,
And to do a little hinge like this for what they're doing, whatever you put up there, I do that hinge from bottom to top. That would be a blessing.
I think you should go ahead and send you guys an email, but I think y'all need to make a decision if you want to go ahead and start just getting a bid process ready.
Yeah.
Does that sound good and fair?
Sounds
Yeah.
good.
You have something?
Yeah, well, why don't you reach out to the Sheriff's Association? There's 67 more counties that's doing the same thing. Somebody's gotta know something, It shouldn't be that hard to find somebody, and we may not can afford them,
yeah.
but, if you should at least be able to find somebody that'll give you a quote.
Is your bid based on, doing all the doors at one time, or would they consider like this year we do 3 doors?
The
next
way,
year we do 3
I was
doors?
going to, y'all can look at the quote I have here. He split it up, option A, B, C, and there's a D option there too.
Could you just email us all that?
And that's, yeah,
Okay.
so.
But if you're gonna bid it out, there's gonna have to be a,
It's going to be written up and let to bid and.
But, and we knew the jail paid for it, that this was gonna be an ongoing situation, that
Yeah, I
we
mean, we're
needed to
looking
get
at
in there.
20,
And
it's 25 years.
yeah,
25 years.
25 years of this building, and we have people that are obviously not gonna take care of the building. So we're gonna have issues no matter what we do. And eventually, it's gonna catch up to us.
So those doors are catching up to us now.
Quickly, and so is everything else is as well. I mean, we're gonna continue having issues, and I'm gonna do the best I can to let you know what our issues are gonna be. So this is something that's coming up that we need to look at,
Yeah,
and I'll be happy to.
I think it's just the time, and there's nothing wrong.
No, I'm not saying, I mean, Lane is not.
Yeah, nobody's done anything wrong, it's just 25 years, and
I mean, y'all make it tear, we have to repair things as we live, so.
And I think things have been patched through the years the best they could. I know that Emmett, you put your eyes on it, and that's your specialty, and I know Fred has too, so.
And
But it's just where we're at, you
Yeah.
know. So, yes, sir.
I mean, I'm not trying to place blame on anybody, but Lane and I were in a class the other day where there's supposed to be a weekly report made on the jail maintenance and stuff. And you and Fred need to get together and y'all need to bring us this stuff so we can keep up with it, since it's our obligation to keep the jail up, you know, and not the sheriff's, I guess. I mean, it falls on us. But if you and Fred can get together and start working on this so we can get a little
Yeah.
along, and then maybe we can get caught up.
Right,
You know.
and that's what we did this morning. Fred had come as soon as I got there this morning, we started going through. I actually liked it because it gives me time I can see what I need to prepare for. That's things that come.
There's several things we've tried to put in the budget, just like the lights in the sale. Those were a horrible design to start with, and we've got a few new ones we're trying out that Fred's installed that are a whole lot smaller and a lot easier. So, you know, that's something that can eventually be worked in the budget to replace as needed. And Laura, you're about the floor, perfect example. We got an inmate now that may or may not have a mental problem. She floods her cell all night long, trying to get out of jail, to make herself fall. We put her in isolation. You can't leave them in there for so long. Put her back. So now then we're down to the point where we have to manually go back behind the pod, turn her water off, and just cut it on long enough for her to take a shower, which means we got to bring her water. But that's what the floor situation, it's situations like that over the last 20-something years.
Mr. Changer?
I mean, I know it's something we haven't been doing, we were supposed to do it, but we haven't been doing it. But maybe we can come up with like a 5-year plan. Maybe y'all can sit down, and we need to get the stuff fixed, it needs fixing, I agree with that. But then come up with a 5-year plan. Okay, next year we're gonna replace these doors, next year we're gonna do this or something, and sort of come up with something we can budget for, because, you know, when you dump in $100,000 on us, that's a big figure.
I mean, and I 100% agree, because eventually, you have to go to the individual sales, where we have one that's, another possible mental case that he tends to fight every time we try to do anything for him. So he stays in his cell most of the time. Then when he gets mad, he tends to beat on the cell doors. So, and we look at eventually one day replacing those doors, replacing the locks, because these locks are changing. Or I know we have brinks on the cell doors. So American Detention had mentioned something about that. They have a new grade that's supposed to help with them beating on the walls and not damaging the locks. So stuff like that is to come, yes, I 100% agree. And I, you know, definitely would love to come up with plans.
So on this lock company, y'all have a contract with them that monitors y'all's locks? It's just in-house?
They just come when they're needed. You know,
Okay, it ain't like you got a contract with them, okay.
It's the same company, you know, over the years we have replaced the fire alarm system, That was a pretty good chunk. We've replaced the control board, that was a really big chunk. And, you know, now you're getting down to the nuts and bolts, physical stuff. And like the locks, the problem with some of that stuff is, some of this stuff is so old now you can't get, it's hard to get parts to repair it. So, and another thing too, don't forget, is over the last couple of years, we've just patched the plumbing in the back. So that's something else that's gonna need to be added to the.
That's what we talked about, that's what we talked about, taking the copper out and going back with patch.
But,
Those are things that need to be brought to us.
yeah, I mean, this is the first report since I've been in office. And we're already over $100,000, so there's some, sit down and some planning gotta be done, you know?
I agree 100%. That's, and be happy to try to come up with something, so that way we can continue make it with the jail we have. 'Cause if we don't, then we're just gonna be in a real problem where we ain't got much options.
Yeah. Just, if you would, just prioritize the list.
Yes, sir.
The
And
rest
we'll start working.
So if you look at these 8 doors in the back, maybe look at, because they're not gonna replace them all at one
No.
time anyway, so maybe we can look at getting the worst ones done this year, maybe. You know, if say it runs up, say we put a $30,000 Band-Aid or $30,000 of repairing 3 or 4 of the doors that needs to be redone right now. And then that way to give you a chance to look at the doors, see how the new doors work.
Right.
But also, when they do those locks, those doors that was installed originally, I'm just telling you, that lock mechanism, that door was not made, even the door they installed was not designed for that dang lock mechanism. It was an aftermarket, I mean, it was the correct lock to be installed, but the way that lock is, I guess that surprised me that those doors are held up as long as they have, because it doesn't correspond with the door. When you do a special door, it corresponds with a special lock on locking doors. So when I first looked at those doors, I seen that those doors was not designed for the lock that was designed, and for the money that the county paid for those doors, I guarantee you at that time, they paid a big dollar for those doors, but they're not designed. It's made for almost like just a regular commercial door lock originally, which weakens the door.
Yeah.
And, you know, so all that needs to be recessed, it needs to be locked in, because that puts a bind on your lock. Because that lock is flexing all the time, especially when you slam those doors without a door closer. You should never slam, those doors should never be designed to slam. Because it's deteriorating your hinges, your door, and your lock over that flex of that door every time.
Mark?
Where are we at on paying off the bond for the jail?
He's paid off.
Complete, how long's that been? A couple of years?
Since June.
Oh, this year? How much per year was that obligation? Do we know? Anybody know?
You
It was
remember?
a little over $200,000 a year. Cause it was like $18,000 a month.
And there's, you know, we have the court fee, part of that is earmarked for the jail, that $30 fee. So, I mean, we know we gotta keep it up. And I mean, in it, for years, you've been, as the commissioner that was put over
It goes
the
over.
buildings and stuff, you know, and I know you've seen it, you've spent a lot of time and given a lot of time out there too. But it's just wear and tear.
Yeah, it's no different than the best thing, I think some of the best money we spent, and I think it's paying for itself, is getting rid of those old borders. I mean, those are the biggest joke I've ever seen. I mean, it's one thing to get a lawsuit out of them things, when people get installed.
Well, this was 25 years ago. I mean, this commission before y'all back then made, you know, even before I came into office, they had already made the bid, and they didn't have somebody like you to watch over. But they did this with this company, and we tried to hold them.
Oh, I mean,
We tried to hold
I think you got good service out of the door. I'm just saying, if we're gonna spend this money in this door, I want the door designed to fit the lock, not whatever mismatch going forward. Those are things that we see now that we know we don't wanna go back to, like the little 5-inch or 6-inch hinge. A hinge, if we can get a hinge for another $1,000 for all those doors that goes from floor to ceiling, or from the header to the floor, that's what we want.
I got one more question.
Yes, sir.
If they paid out back in June and y'all just finished up with the budget and leading into the fiscal year end, where did we put the approximately $200,000 for the upcoming year? Is it just going in the rainy day fund, or?
Oh, and it comes into the,
It stays in its own account, it goes into a capital improvement account, that we receive money every year for capital improvement, and that's the money that we normally spend on the bond, and it's just overall, it's part of the general fund. All of those accounts go to the general fund.
It's not been earmarked
It's
for
not
anything
earmarked for
else?
anything specific.
but I mean, you still know the amount and it's
Yes.
still earmarked. for
Sure.
that. Yes, sir.
When we did the step raises, we talked about using some of that money, $90,000 a year.
Kind of offsets some of what we increased, right?
Good.
Thank you. Any other questions? No.
Thanks, Clay.
I was gonna ask, I guess Tanya will be back and then we'll ask her. You wanna go ahead?
Yes. I have a resolution for us to select a qualified public depository that we're supposed to pass each year. So, I'm gonna recommend that we accept Metro Bank, and I can go ahead and I'll have a resolution for you for this upcoming meeting, if you're fine with that. Also have,
Is that, you know, that on consent agenda? Everybody good with that?
okay. Also, we have a renewal for an agreement with the IAC for them to continue with their assistance on maintaining their support and maintenance and support for the ARPA and LATCF fund expenditures. It's just a tag along for what the agreement we already had. It's just to change the time.
Y'all
on
want to
that.
continue doing that? You got a question?
Yeah, but is it any more money or still?
They're not asking for anything else. They even said that right from front, they weren't asking for anything else. It's just to continue, because even though everything should be obligated by the end of this month, as a matter of fact, there's still a lot of paperwork that goes in reporting that needs to be done. So they will continue to support us on that. You okay with consent agenda on that?
Consent, good?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, let's see. I know that Emmett and, have mentioned some refrigerators for Hearts. I had that on my list, just kind of reminding you about that. And then also, I know Mr. Hendricks had asked about our agreement with Buster Miles for the Sheriff's Department vehicles. And that's all I had.
Okay, any questions?
So on the refrigeration system, me and Terry's gonna pay for the 3-door one, and I'm gonna pay for the 2 doors for ours.
You got the dollar amount.
I think I sent her a copy of the whole
I
thing.
do. Your portion will be $3,300 and yours is $1,850.
This is a discretion. Okay, consent agenda?
That's fine.
Y'all want that? Consent agenda, everybody good with that? Okay.
One other question, over at, the extension office, Cindy Bain had emailed you about, if we added that 2,000, I thought we did.
It's in the budget.
Okay, she's been trying to get in touch with you, so I'll tell her it's in there.
Okay.
All right. Miss Maloney, you have
Yeah.
something?
Couple things.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to make, where are we at with all of it?
The audit is, we're just basically putting final touches on everything, working on the notes now, and just the final few little details. Melissa and I have been back and forth. She was off this whole week, but I sent her things during the time we were out. So she's gonna address those issues, and we should be just right on, I mean, just really close to notifying them to come in to do the audit.
So here we are in December now.
And we told them we would love that by the end of this month, and we'll have that done. Well, I mean, we're just down to the final little bit of wording on notes and things like that. We're down to the final details.
Yes, sir.
Are they even open between Christmas and New Year?
I don't know if they're open between Christmas and New Year's or not, but they will be notified that we're ready for the audit. I'm sure they're not gonna come before Christmas anyway. They're gonna come.
Oh, I know they're not gonna come, but I sure would like to notify them before Christmas.
Yeah, that's what I figured to say, that if you only, when you say a little bit, are we saying 10 hours worth of work, 2 hours worth of work?
That
or-
depends on Melissa at this point. I've given her everything that she's asked for. I'm going over a couple more little schedules just to make sure everything looks
So what we
correct.
can, so you haven't got, you don't have to send them the audit, all you gotta do is notify them that you're ready. So you
Yes.
could really, even if you notify them today, they're not gonna be here until January, February anyway.
Yeah, they just don't want you to do that, they're kind of
Okay,
discouraged
just
about it.
say-
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Can we have a,
Yes, ma'am.
can we just have a timeframe, like by the 20th of December? We
Well,
need,
I
we
can't
need to
speak
be
for Melissa.
notified. They need to be notified, we're ready.
Okay, you can tell me that, but I'm depending on Melissa also to do her part of it, so that's what I'm saying. I can't tell you the 20th, if it's gonna take her, it depends on her schedule too.
Mr. Hendricks?
The process of this, so you just send an email to some person,
Yes,
they give you a confirmation number.
they'll give you a confirmation number, they just send you, okay, we'll set you up, we'll get you scheduled and let you know when we'll be there. That's what they do.
Okay.
When I send that email to Brianna with the examiners, I'll copy you all on it, that we're ready to go. Okay.
I'm just not comfortable with it going past December.
I'm not comfortable with it either, but like I said, if it was just myself, I would say no matter what, I'll make sure it's sent out by that date, but it's not just myself, we're both working on it together.
But everything, by this point, we're 3 years in, and you should be comfortable. If you've just got a few things left, you should be comfortable that you've got it together.
I have it together, it's just that those few things are not things that I normally, or that I have ever done before. So it just depends on when Melissa can actually get to, like, she's doing the last bit of the pension liabilities report right now. And she's working on a few entries that we need to make for adjustments for things for the year for accrued revenues and a few things like that. But as she gets those done, we're back and forth with one another, getting those things entered, and then once it's done, it's done. And the last thing she'll do is the notes, and I know she's already started working on those, but for the most part, up until the last bit, that's the last thing she'll finish up on. When she gets everything else done except for the notes, she said at that point in time, she'll be content with us going ahead and notifying the auditors, because the notes will be kind of the last thing they look at also. So even if she's not quite got everything finalized on that, she'll be okay with us going ahead and notifying them that we're ready for the audit. So, like I said, if it was just myself, I would guarantee you X date, but it's not just myself, it's the two of us working together on this, back and forth, to make sure everything looks right.
Yes, sir.
What about 23?
23 is in good shape. Tracy and I work on it all the time, just making sure we're not near the condition that we're ready to start with on FY 22.
So by the end of January, the end of February, end of March?
Well, by the time they get this audit done, certainly, we should be ready for the next one.
I thought they wanted to do both audits at once.
Not at once. They'll do one and then they'll do the
Yeah,
second.
they go just back. Let me ask a question. So, what I'm saying, so what you just said, because Melissa's time is essential, and I'm not expecting somebody, usually it's no different than your world. Y'all's easier time is probably starts in February through those 3 months after February. So we're gonna make sure, so all this stuff that she knows and all this, she'll be putting all that together in February. She's not putting notes or anything together for 23, am I correct?
Not.
Okay, see what I'm saying, Terry? So I'm telling you, it's gonna be a month or two, which is gonna be February and March at the earliest before 23, because we've been dealing with this for 4 months. And we're still working on the notes. What I'm trying to tell you is we need to make sure that Melissa has got it handed over to her by February, and then we should be able to hand this over to them by May at the latest.
Right, and that's kind of
Did you
the
say yes,
goal.
or did you
Yes,
say right?
we should be able
Okay.
to, because once they start the audit, it takes them several months to do the audit. It's not a everyday thing where they're asking for more information, but they do come back, ask you for questions, have you pull invoices, you know what,
Yeah,
how
I
it
know.
goes. So there'll be months of that going on, but it will not occupy all of our time. We will be working on FY 23. Once we hand over FY 22, we're pretty much done with FY 22, except for whatever they request. Then we'll be able to concentrate on just getting FY 23. But not saying that we haven't been working on FY 23, we certainly have already. Doing some of the same processes that I have done with FY 22 to clear things up, I'm carrying that forward and going ahead and doing that for FY 23 as well. So, I mean, I'm saying if we get that audit done, by the time they get finished with that audit, we should have everything ready for FY '23. That's my goal, is to have everything done for '23 by then.
Mr. Henry?
I mean, I'm not trying to
I
criticize,
didn't see. Go ahead.
criticize anybody, but you keep saying this stuff that we gotta fix. Is it mistakes that we made, or why do you have to go back and fix it? If you do it as we go, there shouldn't be no going back and fixing.
Well, FY '22 did have a lot of things to fix. It was a lot of, just, it should be in this due from account, or it should have been in this one. It's that kind of thing. It's
So
not.
it's mistakes that were made.
Some of it was in FY '22, because that was my first year here, and a lot of it was just new staff and not knowing what we were doing. So a lot of that's been corrected. But there's always adjustments that you make at the end of the year. In any business, even in the private sector, you have adjustments you make at the end of the year. And a lot of it's just entering data into the spreadsheets that you use for your financials, to compile into your financials, like the fixed asset sheet. Those are things that we're starting to get ahead of now, that we're starting to understand how everything gets put together. We're getting ahead of those items now. I have, even Krista does a compensated assets spreadsheet for me, so that's not so much work at the end of the year. It's just going back through and checking everything. So it's getting easier in that we have a process in place now that we're not having to put it all together at one time. FY '22 is the bad one. But FY '23 is already in so much better shape.
So by, I'd love to say March, we can be looking at bringing 24 together.
Well, if we can get 22, they'll be auditing. 23 is our next
Right.
goal, and I'm hoping, spring.
Because all I'm saying is, it shouldn't take a year to do an audit. So
No,
what I'm saying
probably
is,
6
once
months.
you get this headache, 22, it sounds like,
Yes.
23 should be like, woo, and then
Yes.
24 should be. So we should be on a roll
Yes.
now between as much money as the county's spending to get this done. We should be able to be, clicking right along.
Sure.
Mark, let me recognize you.
We got a meeting coming up on the 16th, is that right?
Yes.
Can she give us a definitive answer on when she'll be done if it's not done by the 16th? Can you ask?
If I can ask Melissa.
It seems like everybody's question is when she's gonna be done. Let's just ask her.
We'll shoot for that. Okay. All right. Is that all you have? Any other questions? Ms. Maloney?
Okay, so some stuff we got going on. A lot of y'all know about this, but we've got 3 kind of situations going on with internet issues in Cleburne County. There is a situation in Ranburne with Charter Spectrum was awarded a grant to run fiber to all the households in Ranburne, so they will have broadband. However, they haven't been awarded because there's another company claiming that they can provide what is needed, and it is a line of sight service, and the name of the company is HCI. Through several conversations I've had with residents and businesses in Ranburne, we've discovered that they're not, and through online research, they are not able to provide what they're saying, and therefore it's blocking Charter Spectrum from being able to develop internet in Ranburne. So we are filing, it's a process, but we are going to file an FCC challenge to try to be able to get them off of the map and release those households so Charter can come in and do the development. As of right now, it's not worth Charter's time and money to be able to develop like 3 or 4 houses that are not covered through this.
So who files the FCC? The commission or?
We do.
The commission does.
Mm-hmm.
So we need a resolution to proceed with that?
That's a question probably for Jason.
I would think we would
I
have.
mean, yeah, I've already spoken to the city of Ranburne. So the city of Ranburne they're aware that we want to file the FCC challenge. So I guess, yeah.
But I imagine the city, they could also be part of that challenge too, I imagine.
Yes, they can.
All right, do y'all want to make a resolution, at least put it on there so that y'all can at least talk about it and possibly pass something?
Yes.
I have one question for you. I can't remember exactly when it was. A couple of months ago, somebody came to Ranburne and pitched an offer. And was that charter? Or do you know if there's anybody else involved in Ranburne?
Charter has come to
Is that the
city
one you
council,
say?
but I don't remember.
Yeah, so that was Will Edwards, his name. Yeah, I think he's the one that's been talking with and visiting with city council in
We
Ranburne.
came here too.
He came here too? Okay. He's with Charter Spectrum.
Okay, good, because if there's a third one involved,
And charters, is from pole to pole, right? They don't go underground.
this will be.
This will be
fiber to the
underground.
door, right? Fiber.
But is it gonna be overhead or?
I think they're gonna bury it.
They'll
I
bury
think
it.
that's what I remember him talking about.
That's a big deal.
It'll bury it.
See, they can't,
Yes, sir.
And with the, and
I'm
we
looking
have
at
every
that
belief,
name.
we have every belief that the FCC challenge will be, approved. Generally, if you, from what I understand in past challenges for my research is that, they side with ground direct fiber over line of sight every time. So,
charter can't.
Go ahead.
I got one more question. Lost my train of thought, go ahead, Terry.
We actually passed a resolution 2 or 3 months ago to allow charter to use our right of way.
Yeah.
So, this has been going on for a while.
yeah.
So let's just put it, a resolution, and y'all want consent, or you want on new business?
And you gonna speak to Jason about it?
Yeah, I can put it together and send it to Jason.
Did you say new business, Nicole?
New business, to
Okay.
make sure what Jason has to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mark, go ahead.
As far as I've heard discussions about big grants being given out to these companies. Is there anybody else we know of that has received grant money where they were supposed to be doing
Yes.
development here?
That's my next thing to talk about.
Okay, good.
Okay, so, let me write this down, because I will forget. All right, so there is another group that back, I think, probably about 3 years ago, received, what's called RDOF grant. And it's federal money and it's to the household, fiber in the ground to the household. And the company that got it is called Point Broadband. They received it was, the areas that were not serviced by broadband basically went up on an auction block. And Point Broadband got Cleburne County, Clay County, Randolph County, and Lee County. They have built out Lee County. I finally talked to them last week. They built out Lee County, but they have to have everything built out by 2027. So, that puts Cleburne County pretty much at the end of 2027 and we will be in constant contact with them, making sure that they're doing what they say they're gonna do. Now, that being said, there are a lot of companies out there through learning about all of this. There are a lot of companies that receive these RDOF funds that are defaulted on their projects because it is a huge expense and expenses continue to go up and it's just more than they can do. And of course they have the competition of Starlink now, so.
What kind of money do they receive?
It's probably,
Tens of millions?
oh yeah. Mhm. I can get you an exact number what their RDOF funds were. But
It's a lot.
I mean, it was a lot. To be able to build out those areas, yeah.
The lady came and talked to us one time, it was like in the 30s.
What we did talk about with Point is finding them partners in Cleburne County, and currently, I don't know who I talked to about this, but Alabama Power is about to do a fiber run down 9 through 78, coming through Heflin. And there could be an opportunity for them to partner with, and they've had an open communication with Alabama Power on their fiber development.
Now, when you say, oh, who with Charter?
Point, sorry.
Okay.
We're not talking about Charter anymore.
Okay.
This is Point. And Point has Chilafini, like Muscadine, Fruithurst, parts of Heflin that are not covered. So that deal, Paul's Crossroads.
If I remember correctly, and y'all remind me, the same meeting where that lady, there was a representative from Alabama Power there, and they said they would not partner with anybody, is what she said. Now, they may have changed their mind,
Yeah, they have.
did they?
And they talk
Well,
about.
they said they'd let them use their
the
code,
whole,
I think.
which is just the lower end of the county that they could
From what I
service.
remember, she said that Alabama Power was gonna do their own thing, they weren't gonna partner with
Well,
anybody.
we're
But
not-
things change, you know.
So the way I see my role in all of this and what I'm trying to do is making sure people are doing what they say they're gonna do. And that to facilitate partnerships or communications with the right people. So that's,
And I guess that's my biggest concern because I'm dealing with areas in my district that has no internet. You have Fruithurst, Muscadine, Edwardsville, none of those areas have internet. In the city, even, and I see, in the rural area how hard it's gonna be, but it should not be that complicated for the congested area of like Muscadine, Fruithurst, and Edwardsville to have internet.
well, typically an internet company, there's a rate of return they're looking for. And when you only have, even when you only have 200 homes, the amount it's gonna cost them to run that fiber is, and that's why you see a lot of line of sight services, and why I feel like, Starlink is the best answer for our citizens, that are able to get it. It's just an expense up front.
Now, which I have Starlink, and it works great, I love my Starlink, but I've got so many people that can't afford that. And I look at Parker's Association that has fiber running straight down those areas, and why can't somebody connect with them? Which they're not gonna run it because of the cost,
Right.
but why cannot someone, you got your company in Headland now that feeds off of it.
Right. Well, you can, again, it's a big expense for them up front, so,
And we have this money the governor is putting out there. Why is it not offered to some of these companies to build out?
So again, like the situation in Ramburn, right now, you have Point that has basically, our area belongs to them to build out. And nobody, because they have claimed it on the FCC and the Alabama broadband maps, no other company can come in. And that's the situation in Ramburn, and that's why we're filing the challenge, because we know that this other company is not providing what they're saying that
Now, this company's from Opelika, right? Yeah, I met with them.
Yeah.
I met with them a couple years ago, and they told me that it was a 10-year process,
Yes.
that they would be in Cleburne County.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We hope so.
And that was Point.
Still,
That's Point
yeah,
broadband.
Point.
There was a gentleman came in here a few months ago, and I thought he was gonna build out the south end of the county.
Yeah, that was the gentleman that told us that had the connection with Alabama Power. Remember? From
He's also affiliated with Gigafy somehow, but that's from him, so.
So that was on 10 that came?
I think that you're thinking about, what is, that's the third thing, is Alabama Fiber Access, I think is what's called, his name is David Finken. And what they have been awarded, they are creating open access hubs throughout Alabama. And right now, so like Gigafy buys its broadband from Parker, it buys it from CenturyLink, and they can charge them exorbitant amounts for that fiber. So what this hub does is it allows for companies to come in and buy fiber. They're boring under the interstate, they're connecting fiber, all that. I think that's what you're talking about.
They get it wholesale and then they do the distribution side. They get it.
Basically, yes. So that is what is going in. They just signed a lease on property behind WM Grocery, and they are putting in the open access hub there. So that it'll be easier for companies to build out from there to other parts of Cleburne County. It'll be easier for them. So. Doesn't mean they are not providers. They're just fiber providers.
So, who's Anthony Atkinson? Is that a different, the technical, that's the guy that come talk to us, wasn't it?
I can't remember.
Anthony Atkinson. That name has not come across my.
You remember, he'd
He'd been in here before when we had a meeting over there.
Yeah, then he may be, I think that guy might be Alabama Broadband Office. Is that what it is?
I got Micaville Technical Services,
Okay.
LLC.
I think all that fell through, didn't it?
I
Y'all,
don't think he got-
these
he
companies,
said-
these companies
he said he
are
got one
literally
guy.
playing chess with each other.
Yeah, I don't think he got the bid, or he didn't. So, I just didn't know, I thought, I got confused because y'all were talking about, I thought.
Yeah. These companies are playing chess with each other. And what they do is they make claims, so they block anybody else from coming in here. And what makes us attractive is we have no internet. So they can get money to build us out, but, you know, something like Point, they're gonna build out Opelika first because that's where they make their money. Yes, sir.
I mean, when the governor first started this, the county commissions were gonna be very heavily involved. But then she took it away from the county commissions and gave it to her committee. I mean, something that's fairly simple has been made complicated by politics. And we're just along for the ride because we ain't the dot on the map.
I don't even know that it's politics. I think it is straight up capitalism.
Well, it's
They're
money.
just, it's competition.
It's money and everybody out there trying to get a piece of it, whether they do any work or not, they trying to get a piece of it.
Well, I mean, it's nice to see because when we started down this road, when I was here before, and then when we recruited Gigafy, that was like unheard of for a company to come in and develop in a space. I mean, it just didn't happen because they were not big, they were not CenturyLink, they were not AT&T, and that's who we were fighting, and nobody would do anything. And now you've got hundreds of Gigafys out there that are playing chess with each other. Anyways. Okay, so that's internet. The other big issue I want to talk to you is about the water tower in Rayburn for Tree Brand Packaging. Tree Brand Packaging is expanding their industry. They're in the process of an expansion right now. And through that, they need additional fire suppression. So you guys probably know that they have been working on getting a water tower built out there for quite some time. And so what has been the issue is how to, ADECA has committed money to that, and how to get that money to the company, right, to
Will it
fund
go
the
to the
water
water
tower.
authority, or will it go, who's gonna provide that?
So what initially we talked about is the water authority. It's very hairy going through it. So from my discussions with the DECA, it has to go through a municipality or a county government. It cannot go through a private entity, right?
If the
That's
water
right.
authority tried to do it, they would have to come to us. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's gonna be easier, in talking with Director Boswell and Senator Price, it would be a lot easier if it would flow through the county. And you guys take the deed of the property and send the money to, the company to build the water tower. But however, in this, we would have to create, there still needs to be an agreement between the company and the water authority in Ranburne to do maintenance and how they will, the way it will work is the company will pay for the water tower, pay for the maintenance of it, but it will run through the water authority there.
So the city, that's city limits there.
Mm-hmm.
Are they gonna, I mean, the city water, are they gonna allow that?
According to who you talked to, and what day it is.
Well, that's the thing, Jason says we would, if for us to do it, it would have to be, the city would have to pass a resolution to allow the
Unless,
county to
wait
do
a
it.
minute, unless, it's no different than the city of Heflin, unless that piece of land is deeded to the county. That piece of land deeded to the county, then it's our responsibility. I mean, we can do, it's almost like you having a courthouse in Ranburne.
Well, I mean, you still gonna be supplied by water though, by the city of Ranburne.
The contract, what I've been told, can be written up where the company pays for all the maintenance.
Right,
But it's got to go through the Ranburne Water Authority,
yeah.
but they would pay for all
The
that.
only thing I'm saying is, we'd have to have a agreement, no different we do with the county, with Mike and them, when we do their grants for them. We'll do the same thing with, but it'll be with the water authority, it won't be through the, what I'm saying is it won't be, since it's our piece of property, it won't be, it'll be through the water authority. An agreement with us, it won't have anything to do with the city. You see what I'm saying?
The Ranburne Water Authority, they're a unity by themselves, correct?
Yeah,
So
They're
that
separate
would be
as
the
they-
same thing.
yeah, so, I was trying to say, if you got one council member or whatever, whoever the water authority is, if it's a board out there, I suppose, do they have a board? Yeah, and once you do the agreement with them, then it sort of, I think the streamline this is to go through the county on the acre or quarter acre of land, and then we'll do an agreement with the water authority, because we don't want.
There'll have to be agreements from the commission, water authority, and tree branch.
Right.
Will the city of Ranburne actually be involved? Because the city of, I mean, the water in Ranburne is totally
The
separated, right?
council, I don't think would have to be involved, just the water authority out there.
So, well, maybe I need to go back to Jason then and explain that better.
I mean, I would like for
Does
them to
that
pass a resolution saying that they would support them, but I
Yeah.
really don't think they have any power.
Yeah, I think that water, that city water has its
That's
own
one,
power.
that to be too big.
Do
Yes.
you know who's on that board right now?
Lamar Smith is
Terry
the,
Butler is.
Terry
the main
Butler.
one. I've talked to both of them.
Usually it's the municipality that applies for a grant, if it's, is there some reason why the municipality
It's on
can
private property.
do that? It's on private property. So I was just wondering why they.
why the city's not doing it and us, why we're doing it and the city's not doing it.
Right.
Senator Price and Director Boswell would like it if the county was the
This been
authority
going
to
on.
work through.
Well, that's nice for the city. It's not as nice for the county, but it's nice for the city,
I think
Not really.
because it's a lot of paperwork. There's a
Yeah,
lot to
yeah.
it.
I think it's been going on for 2 years. and
We
I
didn't
think
make it happen.
The re- the-
Senator Price and Boswell both are tired.
It will solve the problem if the county takes it over.
And we'll get it done quicker. Which, I mean, I was gonna tell you, before Tanya got here and all this was going on before, I went to the city council and offered to take charge of it. I said, just give me the authority to take charge of it and I'll get it done. But they wouldn't do it.
Wow.
So,
Well, I mean, they always, when I came in, they have planned to do it all through the water authority. And then I asked the question back to Senator Price and Director Boswell, I was like, I don't think you can give it to the water authority.
It's gotta go through elected officials.
Yeah, Senator Price and I had a
So,
conversation.
so unless it's coming from a different pot of money, because the money that, for economic development that goes through ADECA, is federal funds, and they do not allow it to go through a private entity like the water authority.
So what kind of resolution do you need just to get the ball rolling?
I need a resolution that says that,
Just allow you to pursue this?
to proceed with deeding the property into the county's name.
Is that what y'all want?
But can we just not give her the authority to pursue this and come up to us with a final?
Cause you gotta.
Because she's working with Jason on the resolution anyway.
Yeah, Jason, I need to go back to Jason
Yeah.
and talk to him to see if we really need to go back to the city.
You got 2 weeks?
I think absolutely that the city needs to be told, and because we're gonna have to work with water department. And I was very clear with the city that moving forward, Tree Brand has, and this is not a secret, they have another expansion coming up, and it is a big expansion for them. And it would be nice for the city to work with them. And I'm trying to help mend some communication and relationships between the city and Tree Brand there.
Get us a resolution.
Okay, I'll work on that.
Let's go ahead and put a place down for the 16th, a resolution concerning, what do you want to call it, Tree Brand water, just in case we need it.
Water.
Just to hold the spot, put it on new business.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
Is
I
that
will
good with
that?
get with Jason on it.
Contract or whatever you wanna call it to get the grant money.
But we'll at least hold the space on there, and we'll see what it looks like.
Okay.
So they have a design, do they have anything like that? I live across the road from them, so I'm just curious.
I think the water board has, I think they do have plans, don't they?
I think so. I think all the
I've been
plans,
told
the
that.
survey, everything's been done, but I'll get a copy of it.
I was just curious what it.
I'll have all of that for y'all to look at before you go into a,
I hope it's not ugly anyway.
well, I hope it's not either for your sake. Okay, other things going on, I'm working on real estate prospectus for some property in Ranburne, some property in Heflin, a property in Hollis Crossroads, and what that is it's just a good market analysis of what, drilling down what our targets are, what's possible for that property, looking at the infrastructure that's available there, what are the things you gotta go through to develop that property. And that way, you know, the city of Ranburne can plan, Heflin can plan what they need to do on these properties. So I'm hoping to get those done soon. I've had some meetings with some companies out there. Ruston, where it's not ready for a public announcement, but it is expanding, so that's exciting that they're going to be building a huge facility to the if you're looking at it to the right, we're looking at like 85,000 square foot building. So for
They're gonna
that,
take down the old water tower there too, right?
they're going to take down the old water tower there and expand that out, and they're looking at purchasing some extra property there. So you guys all got the, you need to look at the appropriations, and I'll send you guys those two that went through the House and Senate last year. I'll send it to you too. But I sent it to you guys to look at just for ideas for appropriations, because those will be coming due. You'll need to be filling those out in January, February of this next year. So thinking about that quickly, what your priorities are, and I will tell you, there's all kinds of opportunities for funding, but you know, infrastructure is typically the easiest one and the ones that they all tend to find. So there's that. And then I applied for a grant for our website, so I was told that I would very likely get it. So I applied for $15,000 from tourism. So hopefully we'll get that, and that'll pay for some of the website stuff. It will have to have that tourism kind of feel to it a little bit. So that's with our photography and our video that we're gonna be doing. So that we're gonna do that. Have that. Create Center opened up in Oxford. I don't know if you guys know about this, but it's meant to be a regional kind of CTE, career tech education center, and it's a great thing for Cleburne County because, you know, it opens up some pathways for careers for our kids, like in law enforcement and, you know, forensics, robotics, advanced manufacturing, things like that we can't house at our career tech school. And why that's important to me is because that allows me to market that to potential industries located here for skilled workers. They are looking at those pathways that we have.
Now, is that a window for our schools, our high schools from Ramburn to help them to be able to bus them over there during the day? Or what?
Yeah, so the question is, Oxford has agreed to pay for the cost of our students that want to go over there, but our system has still got to figure out how they're going to pay transport them over there. So that's something that the school board is working on right now.
Oh, that's a blessing.
Yeah. So it's really good facility. It also allows a lot of our businesses can take advantage. Our contractors can take advantage of their free training that they do at night. Right now they do free training in HVAC, plumbing, and basic carpentry. So if you have, any of our contractors have workers that they want to send for training, they can do that for free. And that is done through funding from the federal government. I sit on a board, the WIOA board is Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. And that funnels the federal funds for workforce development in the state. So that's called a craft grant, and that's what that group gets. So,
I just want to thank you for bringing all this to us again.
well, it's you know it was there already. I'm just telling you about it.
But
This is the things going on that. And one of the things I want to do is I'm probably going to try to put together an industry roundtable in the new year with our CEOs and managers of our industry to give them a good download on what is available to them. Because, you know, I met with like Lance Taylor last week. Lance Taylor, you know, is moving his headquarters to Cleburne County, and that is a very good thing. They just have 40 new hires, and they're about to hire 40 more. And there's money for training out there that he can get to help him that he's not aware of. And so making sure that all of our industries from large to small can use this. Even the county can actually use these funds, these OJT funds. If we hire like new officers, you can apply for OJT funds, and they will pay for about, I think it's like up to 60 days of training, or 6 months of training. They'll pay up to 50% of his salary, that person's salary.
For the sheriff? You hear that?
Yeah, that's anyone that works for the county, road department, anyone. So it's an easy process. So, I mean, I can get with Emily and talk to her. I think it would go through Emily, but it's a pretty easy process to fund new hires.
What's able to locate?
OJT funds?
No, is it gonna be a brick mortar place? Right, the training, where they go to school?
Oh, no. You talking about if we hire someone?
No, I was just talking about the actual place.
For that training, you're talking about where they could go over the.
Oh, that's at the Create Center.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be, where's that located?
That is, it's the old Honeywell building when Honeywell closed,
But like
over at the
there-
airport.
Airport, yeah, okay, south of the interstate, okay.
It's really nice. They've done a really good job. And Oxford, Calhoun County EDC, their economic development organization, put $1 million into it. And then the city of Oxford put, I think, up to maybe 3 million in it.
Wow.
And then
And who's,
the state has put
who
money.
runs it? County?
It is under the Oxford City Schools. So, and it's a partnership between Oxford City Schools and the city of Oxford right now. So you have a director, is Lori Denton, and then the superintendent for Oxford City Schools, Ms. Stanley.
But it's gonna be open to other, like Cleburne County.
It's gonna be open to all in East Alabama.
One of the things that the school's trying to do now is how to get the students over there for the training, correct?
Right. So the issue is that we've had for years with Cleburne County being able to do programs like this. We don't have additional teachers credits. We only get so many because we're a poor population. We're poor to be a poor district or school system, and so we don't get enough funding to fund additional teachers credits. So there's so many that we get, and then our facility is limited. So you've heard this because I think you're on the advisory committee, or you were for years.
I was, yeah.
Yeah, for years.
Yeah.
So this opens it up, and I think because of its location near the airport, it's actually going to have. I think phase 3 of the building is going to be aviation training. So our kids will be able to access aviation
Do
training.
you know if they're offering any firefighter training?
Yes, that's where they will be doing that. Yep, 100%.
That's good. We've talked about trying to do something in Cleburne County.
They'll be able to.
have, but if that's an opportunity right there, that's
Yep.
fantastic.
I'll say something on that.
Sure.
Part of the fire association, we've got funds. Laura, you was sitting in on the association meeting on that. We've got some funds set aside for a program. If we could take that to the association, we might be able to help with some transportation or something like that when it comes to that.
We desperately need to get some kids involved in our local fire service.
I will definitely tell the board members that a conversation needs to happen.
At least come
between-
talk
I don't
to
need to
us.
get in between it, but a conversation can be had with y'all, with the fire association and the school board about stuff like that. But now the OJT, I'll talk to Emily about it. But yes, that is what happens is it runs through the Career Center at Gadsden State in Anniston. And so she would say, get with the department heads and say, okay, Lee, what is really the trial period you need for this certain equipment operator that you're trying to hire? And so you would say 6 months, and they would put together a contract with the county
Is
to
that
pay
their
up
pay
to
or
50% of their salary for that 6 months.
And we already utilize some of that with our
Do you?
with our CDL training.
Okay.
So, I didn't realize it was just for new employees too, but we do utilize it.
So the city of Heflin, we got the city of Heflin on this when I was there last time, and we used it for Parks and Rec workers, we used it for police officers, so, and it's a pretty easy process.
We don't have any trouble with the CDL side of it. It goes pretty smooth, so.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's it for me.
Any questions? Mr. Hendricks?
What about the resolution we passed that our representative is wanting to change? You got an update on that, or?
So the update on that is, that we're just gonna be on hold, till January on the resolution, on the redraft of the resolution for the, Economic Development Authority.
But we're gonna have to go back and vote on it, right?
You're gonna have to go back and vote on it. They want the, Initially, I thought we had to have the entire legislation in the resolution. Jason came back and said that we do not, that you just had to pass that. And now the Senator Price and, Representative Robertson is wanting the full legislation in the resolution. So, we're at a situation where y'all understand that Representative Roberts does not want to redirect the tobacco tax to the Development Authority. So that's the issue. And so we're just gonna sit on it till January. Maybe we try to have a couple more conversations with them and see, but I don't know. But we have the time.
Is it something that can wait till the January meeting or something?
Cause it'd be the middle of January, you know.
Senator Price said that it would be time to get it done, so still in that
We gotta
session.
advertise it for 5 weeks, don't we?
Right. Yeah.
You know better than me, I guess.
He said we
Is it
can.
restroom time, right?
What now? You need a restroom break?
Yeah.
Any other questions? Take a 5-minute break. All right, are y'all ready? Y'all ready? So here we are. Go ahead.
No, last month we had Jen and Pete Grayson come asking about us reimbursing for the concrete on the hill. Laura and Tim met with the railroad company over there. They're not interested in doing anything. Their only concern is 5 foot each side of the tracks. All that being said, what we would be looking at is $1,600 for the concrete to reimburse them for doing it. Keith does have a contractor's license, grading and excavating, so it would go through the company. And I requested him to get me a W-9 so we can do the whole vendor setup and everything, but I need a yea or a nay on that.
So you need a resolution for how much money? 1,600?
1,600.
Y'all,
And explain it to Lee that would eliminate us having to go in there and repair.
It is,
It would save us money.
it is one that I have to go back to further.
Oh, I like that part.
Can you get the money in your budget, or is it, you need money?
I mean, I could, 1,600 I can swing.
Well, did we not have, we're employed. We had money left over. He feels like
I think the office keeps pointing this.
I didn't know that we were gonna have money left over,
It's,
because I would have made sure you used it all.
it's not what we need to be. There was some monies left over, we transferred it to other projects.
Why did you transfer it to the project when I still had holes?
Because we finished all of that stuff. It's some of that office stuff. It's not the,
But you got it to swing it, right?
Tim don't understand the funds. It's not stuff that we can just swing around and do this.
The ARPA?
I'm not that, but I knew that I was still dealing with a lot of issue on 33 that could have used some more. So you used all the
We
money.
used all that we could on 33.
I mean,
If you went across, if you went all the way to the railroad track,
It's different money, it's different funds.
it was ARPA money.
But you can't, so we used, the extra he's talking about is where he's pulled stuff from 66. And then we run a little short on striping, so then he uses it over here to do some striping on this, and then it's all went.
Because 66 was not done with ARPA money.
Right.
66 was done with a grant money.
Right.
33 was done with ARPA money.
That's right. But it's all little funds, where he's talking about leftovers, it's just, there is little leftovers and overruns.
You see what I'm saying? I'm just saying, if you could have got more done.
I'm saying,
on 33.
I'm saying we got everything done that we can get done with the little overruns and underruns, and yes, I have $1,600.
Okay.
do you need a resolution then?
I still need, because, it's gonna be a contract with them, so
Okay.
I still gotta get the contract.
All right, so you need your resolution consent agenda?
Yeah.
If I can give you that.
Yes.
And you'll,
And I'll just do it.
resolution. Consent agenda. Anything else?
That's really all I got.
Question?
Yeah.
I am gonna be gone, just so everybody knows, I got bridge school Wednesday and Thursday, so I'll be gone.
Okay,
Miss Cobb.
2025 is coming up, and for this money, for us to apply for, in Washington for federal money, we still have some bridges that's gonna need more money. Have you already started trying to get something lined up for us to start requesting some of that appropriated money?
I have not, no, but we can start doing that.
Because, you know, a bridge project is one of our most costly projects. And I know that what the million that we've asked for, that hopefully we get, is not gonna finish up all of those bridges, correct?
That's just for one, just do one bridge.
So we need to be going after additional money.
Okay.
Okay. Is that it?
I think that's everything.
All right, is there anything y'all want to put on the agenda?
Oh, yeah, I got the whole page.
Okay.
You ready to go?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we never did do the co-chair last month.
Y'all put co-chair coming up. Consent agenda?
Yeah.
Who
is it? Can we put their name on there? Terry Kendricks?
I mean, I'll do it, if somebody else wants to take them, have it.
Nobody's gonna reach out that for you.
The
Just put down
contract
Terry.
for the sheriff's vehicles is up September 30th of next year. We definitely need to start working on this, because I sort of think it's got out of hand. And I don't know if we need to do it, or the sheriff needs to do it, or somebody needs to get the ball rolling, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Does there need to be a resolution to do that? Or you just gonna task somebody with that?
Ever how we can get it going. I mean, if somebody will step up and take charge of it, I'm fine with it, but it's going to have to be bid out again. I mean, it don't have to be bid out if we're happy with what we're doing, but $7,200 for a transmission. I mean, that may be what it costs, but some of the stuff is sort of gotten out of hand.
Explain about the filter.
Oh, yeah, an oil change is $79.55, which is fine, I have no problem with that, but if you add on a cabin air filter to it, it's $141.
And the air filter's what, $10?
$10 to $15, but, you know, we got a contract with these folks, and I'm for honoring the contract, but I'm for, we need to do some research about, and do something by September 30th. I think we need to bid it back out, I guess is what
I think one thing, I think that our biggest thing is around the sheriff's department, I brought this up before, we're trying to keep it local, but you know, the other departments or the other companies, they don't even wanna bid it. And I think we gotta expand our bid side, our bid area, and then in the same process, it might get to the point where it seems like after this year, we should have an extra car or two, to where instead of that, we can take a car and say, okay, this car needs to go for servicing this day, and have a car that they can take and down the car so it can be taken and.
Yes, sir.
When we did this last contract, did the sheriff do the contract and the bidding, or did we do the contract?
We worked on it together, I remember that. I think they actually sent it out.
Okay, so the contract is with the sheriff's department and not with the commission?
No, I think I
Let's
have.
look at the commission.
It's on us.
Let's look at the commission. I know we worked on it together.
We were getting down to the lifeline, and we had to push it, and he took it and ran with it, because we never completed it on our end.
I know, yeah, there was some feet dragging, and we were part of that. But what I'm saying is, somebody needs to be working on it.
Can I ask another question? Since it seems like on the transmission, can the transmission, because it seems like are we still running into the transmission problems?
This is for an F-250.
But what I'm saying is, what about just doing a contract directly for transmission shops? Because I just tell you, the car is not going, they don't gotta wait for an oil change. that car is down, so somebody else be driving something else, that car's gotta be taken, it's gonna be a week out anyway, at the moment.
I don't think we're prepared to debate all this today. We just need to put somebody or some department in charge. And, you know, so we don't get to next August and we're like, well, we don't have time to do it, so we're just gonna renew this one. You know?
Your vehicles are being repaired where?
If it's just small stuff, we do it at the shop. But like that transmission, we had to take it to Buster's to do.
Okay. But that wasn't too bad for the transmission, new transmission.
Well, I did call Amco just to check, because that was gonna be $1,000 cheaper, but
Yeah.
my contract was with Buster, so.
Yeah.
But I did just check it.
Yeah, I just did one myself, 6,500.
Yeah, me too, but mine was 67.
In the past, we've always used Encos.
Yeah.
Because they've always been the cheapest
Right.
before the contract.
Well, if it's a contract that consists of the sheriff, the road department, then should that not be done through our administrator?
That's who we need to ask. I'm good with it.
Well,
Somebody
I'm
just needs
just
to
saying, is that not,
Yeah,
is
that's where it
that not
goes.
what we need to be doing?
I
Let me say
think
that.
so, I mean, I know she's got a lot on her. What were you
But
gonna say?
also, what is your warranty at the Ford place on that transmission? Because the Amco gives us 100,000 mile, every time we get a transmission rebuilt at Amco, 100,000 mile, almost unlimited, because their cars don't make it 100,000 anyway. But,
somebody just needs to do the research and get the ball rolling.
what's your warranty on that transmission? I bet you it's probably not much.
Mine's a year.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm
But see,
Say that
Strickland's
we
a
need
lot of
to
miles on this.
appoint our
So I'm saying, you
administrator
don't
to
really.
start on this contract
10, 15,000
and
miles.
get with the sheriff, get with the road department, whoever, but our administrator needs to tackle this.
And that's what happened last time. I actually got all the paperwork in and they sent the bids out.
Yeah.
We went back and forth to make sure that we agreed upon what was the service that was.
And then you need
But
to
we need a resolution to task the administrator to
to
start working on it.
complete this
I tell you, if that was
by-
a county guy,
before September.
was going over it. Now the bid.
I'd like to see it in July.
We still, now, we don't have to bid that, it's a certain amount.
Let's just say
That's 50,000.
And y'all wanna task her with
resolution to
that?
task her to get the contract ready and have it to be going out by July.
Okay, Alright. y'all good with that? We're gonna do a resolution, there's gonna be a resolution to task Lisa
I'm
with
so
getting
good with it, I'm just happy out there.
contract by July. Consent agenda,
Yes.
everybody good with that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, my next deal is a business license. Our business license are so screwed up. I mean,
it's a state problem, it's not county commission.
yeah, but we don't even, you don't have to have a business license for service in Cleburne County.
Mm-mm.
If you bring all your stuff to my shop and I do all the work and all, I don't have to have a business license.
Yeah, that's a state thing.
Every county's that way. How come Calhoun County's got so much control and we don't have crap?
Well, I know they charge, more on their business license, I think. They have an extra fee, but I think it's pretty much all the same state.
What do we have to do to first increase our rates? Because $1 or $2 is just ridiculous.
Through the legislature.
Yeah, okay.
If y'all wanna add a fee to it, like Calhoun County's got.
So that's probably something we have to do next year because we're running out of time to advertise.
Well, I called her, no, you got time, I talked with Randy about it, and, you know, he called me back, and I said, well, we might add it, I said, right now, like our garbage, I mean, not the garbage, but junk yards, $5, I think. And he said, well, we might add a couple of dollars to it, I mean, that ain't even worth wasting our time on, to be honest, you know, I mean, the city of Heflin, they go from $1 or $2 to $50 to $100. I ain't suggesting maybe that much, but I'm suggesting,
But it's more now. Well, 4 years ago, when I was selling business, mine was over 400 with the city.
yeah,
So
mine's
mine's
$150,
usually
and I don't have to do much, you know.
Okay, so
Mine's $2.
Okay, so what do we need
That's what I
to
use business.
Oh, in the city of Heflin?
No, I don't do it, see.
Okay, I figured.
I don't work at city.
do? So what do we need to do? We need to task somebody for research, we need to set aside a meeting to discuss all this, or?
Didn't Krista go, did you ever get, when you go get some information from Ryan's office at one time?
I think that Joyce sent over a list of all the different business licenses, but it did not have fees or anything on it, it was just all the different codes.
I think in Ryan's office they have it.
But y'all, yeah, I think that someone from up here called and got some
Yeah,
information.
I mean,
Maybe
we-
Emily,
Yeah.
Maybe.
Williams, it may be, because I know it's across the board,
But
different
let
things.
me ask you this, Ryan. $2 for a business license, you're spending more than that
The process.
issuing that license.
Mhm.
So it's not feasible in this day and time.
And it
It
all
should at
depends.
least be a $10 to cover the cost.
All right, you got services. All right, let's talk about things. The state of Alabama does this. If you're a lawyer, you're providing a service. If you cut hair, you're providing a service. But if you cut hair and you sell some hairspray on the side, you gotta have a certain store license. Now, if you have a convenience store and you sell Coca-Colas, you gotta have extra. If you sell a deck of cards, there's an extra fee on there. If you sell, dice or, there's extra fees added onto that, like, so the store runs up to about, I think about
Thank you.
nearly $200 a year for a convenience store because of all the different products that you sell. If you sell food, you have to have a food permit before you get your business license. So it's across the board, it's little things are tacked on. But like a lot of people will come in and get, because they want to get their federal identification number or whatever, they'll just get a $2 license in it for their tax purposes.
What is that $2 license for?
Just the
I mean, is it
You
a
sell
service based?
No, it's not service based, it's if you want to sell a product. But if you don't,
Do you recall what yours says it's for?
nope. I got the cheapest one, just so that I can have it, I can open up an account with the bank wants it. A lot of times I have an Alabama Rain account.
Do we not, does the county not charge the issuance fee? Because I know municipalities usually have like a $10 issuance fee. They can actually charge more than that, if I'm not mistaken.
Well,
Which, of course, is kind of.
Calhoun County, I think, has a higher fee, but that's a local act to add on to it, and that's what y'all have to go through legislature.
So let me get this straight, which I've talked to both y'all. Here's an example. My shop, I got a shop, which is closed, but I got a shop. You bring your truck to me, you bring the oil, you bring the filters, I do the work, roll you back out. I don't have to have a license.
Right. It's a
I mean,
service.
that's, how do we have to have a business license for service then, I guess was one of my questions.
I don't know, I think you don't. They have
The
to
state of
ask.
Alabama doesn't have that?
You might want to ask the ACCA because there's just certain things that are considered services that you don't have to have a license for.
Okay.
But now, like I'm
There's
sure, like
nothing-
if you go be a chiropractor, you're gonna have to have a certain kind of
But there's
license.
professional services that have certain requirements to go with,
Oh,
like the
yeah,
chiropractor,
contractor.
the attorney, or the contractor, the
Contractor.
plumber, electrician.
Yeah,
all that.
they have to have, according to how much business they do a year. If they do over 100,000 a year, then there's a certain, but if they do 200,000 or $1 million.
I was sent a few years ago about teaching music.
Mhm.
And I was told if I was gonna do it at school, I need to get a license, and that's when I came in and tried to find one. There is no such thing.
Right.
There's
There's some
no,
things that are very,
most generic services like that, there's just no license.
so you just get a $2 license.
Unless it's mandated by the state, like a daycare center.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a mandate.
Let me ask you this, you were talking about the additional fee for just issuing that license. Would it not be more feasible to add a $10 fee just strictly to issue that license to cover the cost of that employee and then take time out to do that, plus the paper process?
Yeah.
But now how do
You're gonna have to get the legislature, it's a local act, to add that fee.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's something.
That's what he
That's
said.
something that needs to be done just to cover the cost that it does for your office just to handle that.
Okay. Yes, Tim.
Is everybody ready to move on?
Yes.
Well,
Go ahead.
are we gonna do anything, or we're gonna ask that we
I mean,
have?
if we gotta have legislation, we need to,
Give me your legislators.
let's talk to the ACCA, we'll be down there next week.
Okay.
Employee handbook. Have you got us an update on the employee handbook?
I have sent a few things to Jason. I'm still going through the end of it. And he is, and I don't know, I have not spoken to him as far as where he is on it. I think I've sent him all the resolutions that he needs. So what is the deadline that you have, that you want us to have that completed by?
I mean,
Because I don't have any, I was looking at my notes last week, and I don't have a deadline in.
You know, what we discussed, and I think we did a resolution to pass, you and Jason to do that. And we also talked about department heads, if they had any issues, they can bring them and we can look at everything.
Yes.
So has any of that been done other than just,
I have gone through it, and Jason has gone through part of it, but now I have not scheduled meetings with department heads. I can do that and see if they have any questions. I know something has come up last week that both Lane and Joyce had questions about. It's clear that in the handbook, but they just have questions about if that's the way that it should be. So it might be beneficial if I scheduled meetings and spoke with them about what they want.
would it be easier if the commission had a work session and told all of the department heads to show up, or would it be better for you just to individually do it?
I'm not sure. I think either one would work. It might be better if we all discussed it.
Well, you can meet with the department head and come, because you're not changing nothing just because you meet with somebody.
No, I'm just kidding.
Maybe see her, and if it's just some wording, then.
All the changes, you gotta come back to us.
Right, that's all I'm saying.
But somebody's gotta get it done. Okay, one more question.
Okay.
And it's not really for you, it's really for everybody. The state didn't pass Juneteenth as a state holiday, did they? I don't think it ever even came up for a vote. I would like to see Juneteenth removed and another floating holiday in its place.
Y'all want to make a resolution now to do this?
Well, I mean, we need to discuss it.
You're really not doing anything, you're just replacing the name of it.
No, you're making it a floating holiday, they can take it on January 1st, or they can take it on
Right.
December 1st.
But
You know.
you're.
I'd be on board with doing away with it. I don't care about another floating holiday. I think we got enough of it.
Well, that's a debate we need to have then.
Okay.
Well, you make the resolution, Mr. Hendricks, and then if they want to, you don't get a second, then you have to amend it, so.
Okay,
What do you want to do? You want to make a resolution?
I'd like to make a resolution that the county forego the Juneteenth holiday, and in place of that, add a floating holiday.
Okay, you will say new business, since you may get some
Yeah, that's
kickback
fine.
on that?
That's fine, I was just wanting to have a discussion on it.
All right, so we want to add that to the,
And
put on new business, and then y'all think about it, and that'd be something that if you don't like what Mr. Hendricks likes, then you want to ask him to amend it if you second it, or whatever.
or if you want to change it today. I mean, I just want to have a discussion.
What was it at the time?
It used to be Confederate Memorial Day or Jefferson Davis Day.
We done away with both the Confederate holidays, and I guess as much my fault as anybody else, I was under the impression that the state passed that, but the governor just did it for 1 year. So I'd like to go back and take it off. And, anyway. All right, ready to move on?
Yes, sir.
The letter from WM, I guess I should have asked you when it was your turn, Lee. Did we ever get any kickback off of that after Jason sent a formal letter?
I haven't heard any kickbacks off of it.
Okay.
I don't know if he's received any kind of official response or anything with it, so.
The letter was for them to come out here and fulfill their obligations to get all these trash cans changed over. I still got trash cans that from two companies ago out in my district.
Do you know why they didn't finish that?
No good excuse.
That, can you write something down, let's have a discussion with Jason? Please? To help, I say please. One more deal, it's just an update. And it's sort of personal, but it's not. There's a C&D landfill behind my property out there on 49. Adam has been out there several times. The Forestry Service has been out there several times. And they're all good with it because there's no paint and there's no plastic out there. So I just see if I mean, I got people calling me every week, sending me emails and stuff, they don't like it because of the smoke, they don't like it because of all the big trucks going in and out. Is there anything we wanna do, or is it just something we have no control over?
Is the C&D landfill supposed to be burned?
He's burning brush. So what they're bringing in, they're bringing in concrete and asphalt and tree debris. And he's burying the concrete and asphalt and burning the tree debris. Claims that he's not getting paid for any of it, it's not a business, it's just he's filling in a hollow trying to make some flat ground. But it's a year-long fire at the moment, so.
And at one time, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, we passed a resolution where anything like that had to come through the commission. But with Adam saying it's not a business, I don't know what we can do, you know?
And there is a resolution, Lisa, I don't know if we found it,
We have not found
but
it.
because I've laid eyes on it myself. There is a resolution out there that said any landfill had to go to the commission.
Yeah.
It is, we pulled that resolution back when we were dealing with the issue up just outside of Fruithurst. There is a resolution that
I remember
claims that
seeing
it
it.
has anything that comes in, and that, when we were trying to go before the, legislation, I think, and change, that's when we found out it was already in place. We didn't pass it, it was something that was passed years ago. It's something that was passed before we ever came in
But if you
office.
try to do it as a business, yes, right?
Right.
So he's flying under the radar of just, he's not making any money off
Says
of
he
it.
ain't making no money off
And he's not burning anything illegal, according to ADM.
of it. According to ADM, according to the Forestry Commission, and I've been out there twice myself, and there's not anything there.
Is that something the county wants to pursue, or it's just a deal where he's in the middle of the regulations and he can do it?
One thing you might want to do is make a resolution or something, or task the attorney to look at something, just to show that you are trying to change it or look into it. You want to do something like that?
I mean, but is there anything we can really do?
I mean, if he is, how many businesses out there that, making money under the table that it's hard to catch it?
There's trucks with roll-offs coming in and out all day long. So, you can't tell me that many people out there that just says, hey, do you want a load of this? Yeah, bring it on down here. And he's got a bulldozer and a track over running all the time. Of course, ain't nothing wrong with that. Farmers do that too. There ain't no problem with that. Anyway.
That's just, I think right now, if ADM's checked on him, forestry, until something happens, I don't know. But I'm not saying it's not worth looking into, or at least making an effort if that's what you want to do.
I guess my thoughts on it is defining the C&D thing. So that resolution's there saying does it have to be a business, or is it, how do you define that C&D?
Right.
Is it just,
Is that something we want to do then? Go back and amend that resolution to give a more definite definition?
Now, let me ask you, that CD, that's a state thing, isn't it?
no, there's a county resolution.
There is a county, but I thought there was also a state.
Can we just research this and get all the resolutions and all the information together first?
I tried looking for that resolution. Only thing I found was where everybody agreed to not have a landfill. And I have looked through years and I cannot find anything but what you're all talking about.
If we could narrow it down to a time frame, that would definitely help.
We pulled it.
We did.
Yeah, we pulled it, Lee and I'll go back through some of our records.
So you said we didn't vote on it.
No, it was already before we came in office, that was already voted on.
Tax related.
It was something that was already in place.
Y'all remember a couple of years ago, there was, the guy, he was in
Your consultant.
the absent, there was a gentleman out at, that's running an ambulance business, and he and another gentleman come here, and they own some land out in the Redlands. And they wanted to do a CD, but they knew they had to come before the county commission to get your blessing. I thought that was under a state, that's a state requirement. Don't think so.
There's somewhere, because we pulled it, I remember pulling it, and that's when we read, we already had some, when Jeannie was in office, Jeannie did the research, and she said, hey, Laura, you guys already got this in place. And she sent me a copy of it, and I'll have it at the house, I'll go back. But there's something already in place that there cannot be one brought back into Cleburne County.
Okay, well then you may want to amend it.
I guess my question is, do you have to be making money in order for it to be?
Provided it to
Yeah.
If you're dumping debris,
If you,
consider it.
let me ask you this, if you're gonna build a lake, you're supposed to get permission to build a lake. But people build lakes all the time.
If it's over an acre, you're supposed to get a stormwater permit.
And you go through.
$1,380.
We can't regulate everything, I mean, I understand that, we're a rural county, but
Well, you probably gonna have to.
I get
Population
more complaints on that smoking crap than I do on garbage.
I bet you do.
So,
That's how I posted on Facebook.
it's, I'm looking for suggestions, and I'm also ready to go.
I'll pull that. I got it.
Do you want to hold a place on the agenda for it?
Then you talk, then when, our attorney's here, you talk to him too, he might give us a suggestion.
Okay.
Hold a
Put it on
place
new business, yeah.
New business.
and just say resolution for CDL, not CDL, CD, C&D, I'm sorry. Thank you.
All right, I'm done, unless that's one to start complaining.
No one more complaining today.
Anybody else got anything? Mark? Laura, you didn't get anything?
That's just what I told Lee.
Oh.
Something there.
This is my first time doing this, so y'all bear with me a little bit. I got a call about County Road 42. I had a problem on County Road 42. Now, I went through there again yesterday, and we got about 5 new pipes in there, is that right?
That's right.
About 5. So this is a general question. How's that compared to the pipe she's got to have up there in 65?
We're talking bridge culverts on hers.
Bridge,
We're
okay.
talking cast in place concrete culverts.
When I mentioned this to you about the dip over there, I think it's the first crossing past 811. One of the old ones, not the new one, but when did y'all do that? About a year ago?
One of
The two, right?
so those were all done several years ago.
Okay,
Just the new ones are the ones that we've done.
okay. So when we talked, you said you was gonna let them settle a little bit more, but I think the one that I'm having a problem with is already settled. And it's gonna
one of
be,
the old ones.
it's the first one west of 811, I believe. I think it's
So when we go back up to the red, I know you're talking about
811's midway through there, and it's the next one toward 19 from 811. So somebody hit me up about this back in July, and I said, okay, I can do it now. I've been asked about it then. I almost wrecked the truck by speed, going harbor fast, about 50 miles an hour. And then I got a call the other day, another person had the same problem I did. They bottomed out, they've had to take the truck in and get work done on it, at least get checked out. So anyway, I think we need to do something with that particular deal out there.
So my intentions is, next year, once these new ones that we've done is kind of settled too, because I've got those, I've got one on 19, I've got some on 36, kind of working your way back out to 9, is to come in and level, some on 48. So just come in and level back over the top of those.
Your equipment's already gone down the road now, though, so it's still on.
It'll be a contract, but talking about doing some asphalt. And my wife also reminded me, we went through there on a motorcycle back during the summer, and she remembered getting bounced up out of the seat and almost flying off the motorcycle. Those are some of the older ones that have, so.
Well, I might need to move that ahead a little bit if there's any possible way. I'll move on. County Road 81, was that Kyle Fishhead Road? Not that down at Hoss, goes around behind Turner property.
Yeah, I get it.
Do you know if that's a one-lane road officially?
No, it's.
Is it 20 feet wide?
Oh, no, it's not 20 feet wide. It's one lane.
Most of our,
It ain't nothing that's posted one lane.
do you think maybe it should be? I don't know how wide, I haven't been under to measure it yet, but it appears it's not wide enough to.
No more traffic than homeless, no. We started doing that, that's a lot of county roads.
I got a resident there, residents concerned about, kids playing, people speeding down through there. Can we change the speed limit on? Is there anything we can do to slow them down and make it safer with it not being wide enough to?
Are they playing the road in the country?
I mean, that person lives there and they got people driving 50, 60 miles an hour down a one-lane road.
Right.
So that's over the speed limit that's already there, so it just goes to enforcement.
What about a sign that says kids at play?
He asked about that. If we've got any, or they can, I mean, they're probably willing to pay for it. It's just,
We can't post them because it's not a regulatory sign.
can the person with concerns do it out of their own pocket? Can they put up a sign over
Over to
there
the side off the right of way.
off the right of way?
And that right away's not very
I knew you
far.
could do that.
I've got roads, you can throw a rock from one side to the other, and it don't change nothing.
Well, I know the signs. The person's got to be willing to read the sign.
The speeding is gonna be
Sure.
stopping the sheriff's
When
department and somebody sitting on the road right.
Also, do you know what the weight limit is on that bridge down there? Maybe around 17 ton or something like that.
Something like that. but
How do we enforce the person that's got two ways in and out, that's parking the truck down there, and that's used to drive across the bridge, it's not rated for that truck?
So the only way you can enforce those weight limits is you basically got to have a set of scales set down there.
If we know that truck weighs, 30,000, close to it, and it's a 15,000 bridge, or 10,000 bridge,
Goes back to the enforcement things.
it's another enforcement issue with the sheriff.
There's nothing, I can post them, but as far as enforcing any of that, I can't, I've got no enforcement.
But there's a sign down that tells you what.
Oh, yeah, there's a sign on it that says, it's a gross load sign that says what
The
the
weight.
gross load weight
Has it got a height level on that bridge?
is.
No cover, no, it's not trust, it's a, what does it look like? I ain't,
It's just
I haven't been there, it's cement, isn't it?
yeah, it's just a
Slab type.
slab on top of some steel beams.
I think we brought this issue up one time in the past, and the sheriff, which I think was the sheriff before this, said they don't have scales, so they don't write tickets. That was Dennis, I don't think, I ain't even brought it up to John.
But
That's what Dennis said.
Say you'd have to contact state trooper's office and they'd have to have them set them up and catch somebody.
All right, I'll look into that one a little more. So about this roll-off business, or the C&D private landfill, I had somebody call that's starting a roll-off business, and they were asking, what options we had, and why didn't we just reopen our landfill? And I said, well, that's probably not gonna happen, but I've checked on it. Is this somebody that I can refer them to over at Macedonia to contact about dumping, or?
No, if you do that, you're in the middle of an illegal operation,
Okay.
because that guy says it's not a business, so if you're calling and trying to give him business, then it might come back on you.
Well,
And it goes back to that same bunch I talked to as well. Their options are the county.
Yeah. Oh. I remember a year or so ago, we talked about having some special money that you flip shoulders with. Are we still doing any of that, or can we get back to doing something?
So it ain't special money, it's just 3R money. The clipping the shoulders, we do clip shoulders, we still do.
I figured that was sort of, not something you did all the time, but you do it when you.
We still do it fairly regularly. The problem we run into with clipping shoulders is it takes so many, so there's two ways to do that. There's the one that we do, which is, as the motor graders are riding around, they kind of drop the blades and just sling it far back.
I like the other way. I really like the other
The
way.
other way of pulling it on the road, picking it up, it just takes every man I got.
Can you reuse that material? Too much silt in it?
It's just, we call it instant grass. We do a pipe or something like that, we'll go get some of it, put it on the shoulder, and it'll grow grass, but you can't really use it.
We got so many serious pothole issues and roads are just coming apart. It seems like that if we're holding water on the road, it's gonna cause more instability underneath that tar and gravel, so.
In those areas, we do try to clip out.
Okay.
That's the low spots, that's the stuff that we're just hitting and we're just slaying it off.
Yeah, and it's not somebody's front yard most of the time, it's,
The clipping, though, that don't create, that's not creating new money, that's just moving money from one fund to
It's
another.
just using that 3R money.
Yeah, it's not real money.
Yeah, it was,
would you say 25 is a road that has a lot of heavy traffic, like logs in particular?
It's got a lot of logging because it comes out of the redlands there.
A lot of land back
That's
in there.
amazing, it's in the shape it's in.
Is there a plan for any major overhaul on that section of road?
Right now, there's not, no.
That would be something you could use your gas tax for.
And 12,
12 is one we're gonna get next year.
in 20, sometime in 25.
Yeah, we ground the bad spots up on it this fall and we'll reshoot it in the spring or early summer.
Put the surface back down in the
In the
springs.
Yeah. Once the temperatures get there, we get to that point.
Can I make you a suggestion, Mark?
Yes, sir.
You need to schedule a day and go do a ride around with,
I'll be glad to.
Lee, and he can answer a lot of them questions.
One other thing, I know we're sending a resolution to the state about the raises, right, about the elected officials' raises. Where do we get to on that? Increased salary, okay, that was November 13th, we sending that to,
That was for the sheriff and the revenue.
I'd like to ask what y'all's feelings are about trying to do something for the coroner related to that. It's my understanding that they were making $600 a month until 2007, which is a while back, when it was raised to 1,000 at that time. And I don't think there's been any cost of living raises added to that or any other kind of increase. I'd just like to see if we could give some consideration to trying to do something for the coroner on that $1,000 a month. First thing I guess I'd like to know before asking you to consider a particular amount is I'd like to know how many cost of living raises we've had in that time period. And if we could just apply it that way, and if that doesn't work, then maybe consider adding another 500 or so per month.
If you do a cost of living raise, every employee gets it. You can't.
I'm not talking about the ones that every employee already got, but the coroner didn't get. I'm just saying, to come up with an amount that would make sense.
He's an elected official, I think we just have to raise it. That's a Ryan question there.
On the corner?
Well, in
I
trying,
raised it once before, didn't we, Ryan?
When I first come into office, it wasn't like $500.
We raised it to
$1,000, I think. Or exceed, they raised it to $1,000.
Yeah.
I can't remember, but it seemed like the corner would be like elected official. I don't know if we had to go through the legislature, I can't remember.
I think we did.
No, I don't think we did.
I don't think
I
we
think we
did.
just passed a resolution. So,
my information may not be correct, but I was told it'd been 2007, I believe. Who do we have? And it was,
no, it's been since then, because I've been in office since 14, and we've done it a raise since 14.
I've gotten something from the ACCA, and I want to say it was probably the last class I went to. I can pull that back out and send it to you. But if I'm not mistaken, I don't think that we're even required to give a cost, when the rest of the employees get a cost of living raise, I'm not sure that the coroner's included in that.
Because he actually doesn't work for us, he actually works for the state. I think.
There's something different about
Does the
the
state
coroner.
contribute to the salary?
Well, then what you could do is, if that's the case, we did it before, I remember doing it, what you can do is just put your resolution together, if he's making 1,000 now, if you want to go to 1,250, just do that, because we did it before, haven't we, Ryan?
Yeah, it seems like we did. I just can't remember how long it's been and
We did.
how we did it.
Rudy was a coroner at that time.
That's who it was.
Yeah.
well, I was told that's when it went from
Rudy
6 to
Rubin.
I
1,000.
think it was Rudy, I don't think we did.
Cause if they're in a stadium, boy, we can raise them
I
up.
think Rudy was in there when it went from 600 to 1,000,
Yeah.
if my
That's
information is
right.
correct.
Yeah. But that's been since,
So what do you want it to go to?
Well, just out of curiosity, I was wondering about those cost of living raises that have, I know they're not required to be passed on the quarter, I understand that, but I'm just saying for an idea of how much money that would constitute. Let me ask some more questions.
Reach out to Clay County and Randolph County and see what they're paying. I think we did that too.
Yeah, that's what we did.
Let's just leave it on hold for now, and I'll ask some more questions here and there and see what I can.
I'm thinking I heard that Randolph County was 1,500 at one time, but I'm not positive that that's gonna change since I heard that.
Yeah.
but Randolph County's got more people.
I'm not saying that's, you know.
I
I'm
mean,
just
there
saying
may be a
that's what
formula
it
out there somewhere
And they-
where, you know, how many residents you got, so many dollars, now, I don't know.
Right. And I think it does, I think an ACCA handbook, it addresses.
They have an association too, so.
Yeah.
You'll be down there next week, just talk to Sonny or talk to, I can't remember the lawyer's name, I know when I
They
say
change that, you talking about,
Kelly?
Kelly?
Kelly, yeah, Kelly can tell you, or she'll
Yeah.
find you an answer.
Okay. I mean, and another way other than cost of living raises, you could just,
Increase?
well, yeah, just increase it, but you could also do a consumer price index on it and just say, well, you know, it should be 1,400 now versus 1,000 then. But I'll do a little more research before we proceed with anything. All right, that was a lot of talking, and nothing wrong on the agenda, did it?
No. She good, that's good.
Got some answers.
As long as you throw ideas out there, it's great.
Just, I mean, and remind everybody too, anybody can make a resolution. Like, if you make you want a resolution made, it doesn't mean that your folks here on your board
That's
will
what
go along with
the
it.
votes for.
Yeah. You can make a resolution, you may not get a second, it may die. But I've also seen, you know, if there's something that you're passionate about, if you want to make a resolution within the law, that you can make that resolution to show that you are making an effort. And I've seen that before, you know.
But, I mean, we're in a work session, and me, I like to throw stuff out there and see what everybody else thinks. I mean, because we're not supposed to pick up the phone and start calling everybody, and say, what do you think about this? That's against the law, you know.
Well, but even in this setting, you have to be careful because you can also get into, well, I do this or I do that.
Yeah.
What's that called, that word, where you're actually making a decision
Yeah.
in a work session, so you.
Influence and.
Yes.
I do have one more thing that I forgot to mention. Y'all know I've been pretty proactive about herbicides. I'm not really ready to pitch a complete integrated plan, but I would like to consider taking the glyphosate out of anything that we're doing on the roads. Just because of the way it's been determined that it's, you know, WHO, or I can get y'all all the details on it, but I believe it's WHO determined it was causing cancer, and it's, I think, consumer glyphosate's gonna be banned.
So I'll tell you what I've already kind of been working on, because coming up here in January would be and I've already kind of made that request to see what we could pull that would take the glyphosate out of it and replace it with something that's
Not glyphosate, just something that's approved and not controlled. I would really like to see us not using special chemicals that require special licenses.
you know.
That's good.
Everything that we do use is.
Target needed a special permit, didn't it? You can't buy it.
It didn't need special, you just had to, they didn't stay with the 50-foot either side of the waterway.
Okay.
They just got off label. And it's not aquatic safe. From that fiasco, what we done last year is everything we sprayed last year was aquatic safe, so that we could spray it to those waterways with it. And no, we don't spray anything that's restricted. Everything that we spray is, the average consumer can go buy it.
I hope that we can get back to y'all doing some of the spraying where it's needed and not, hopefully not contracting it. But anyway, my proposal, and we'll go ahead and put this on the agenda if you want to, is for us to cease the use of the glyphosate. and then whatever you gotta replace it with, as long as it's not that.
There's other options out there. I mean, something like that, I'm fine with. We can-
Don't make it worse.
It costs, though, the thing's gonna be cost. Those other products cost a little more, but, I mean, we're not talking that much more. That's just the difference, is.
Do you want me to, do I need to, maybe work on wording of a resolution, or just go ahead and put it down, let's work through it between now and the meeting?
You can, if you have a resolution that you saying specific.
The only specific thing I want to put in there at this time is that we, road department and the county that we control, part not, can't get into school board or none of that stuff, but just what we control, not to use any more glyphosate in the interest of public health and safety.
Okay, so he wants to put a resolution on, and you want it, I suppose, on a new business to talk about it. They may ask you to amend, you may not get a second, but at least you can have the resolution on there, because you are a commissioner.
And Lee can tell us what his alternative is gonna be and cost or whatever associated with it.
Whether anybody wants spray.
Well, I would rather, at this point, take it one step at a time. This is the most harmful chemical that we're using. And, I'd like to see us just pull that out of it, and that would give him more time to transition to a better way, a cleaner, more effective way of managing things. You'd still be able to spray your brush, you'd still be able to spray kudzu and things that are troublesome. And you can still spray, areas that you can't get to with a tractor, but what we're doing now is essentially chemical mowing, and it's just contributes to erosion.
I still kind of want to talk about that, so you talk about us doing it, so. The ultimate goal there was to replace,
Which one
was to put fescue, replace the fescue with Bermuda, and we're doing a pretty good job of that. So some of these other products are still going to delay the growth of fescue, to allow that Bermuda to come on up on the shelf. But one thing that I do want to do, talking about brush control, is that's something that we really haven't. And the reason I haven't been is because the sidearms have been behind and running around. But now that we're getting caught up on sidearms, these areas that we run through the sidearms,
You can prevent the,
I would like to start doing the brush on those areas since we've got to cut back. And that'll help us keep caught up on that. I guess I am still asking to bring a contractor in and do a full right-of-way treatment. I still like that option. We'll take the glyphosate out of it and replace that, but still be able to control all those broadleaf.
help me understand, I know we got tall grasses like, fescue's not really that tall, we got Johnson grass is a big problem. Why do we need to kill the fescue to let the Bermuda grass grow? Because they're opposite seasons, and if you get rid of all your winter grasses, what you don't have is a lot of erosion in the winter when it rains more.
You do. They're supposed to, 16 inches is what the right of way is supposed to be.
Okay.
And so when you
According
start,
to who, that's just a state spec.
that's state specs.
Fescue's 24 to 30 somewhere.
And that's why they recommend, that's why they have their programs to try to keep the Bermuda grass on there. And you have that root mass in there that is supposed to help hold it, but you do have some areas up in the shades that it does well. But that's the reason for it, is trying to adhere to that 16-inch. But the Johnson grass is a whole separate application in itself. That's where we'll come back in.
And it's a big problem.
It is. Not as big as it was. We actually made a pretty good deal on it too. But it's a whole separate application later in the summer.
This past summer, the Johnson grass wasn't an issue in my district.
Right. Yeah, we've made a pretty good jump on most of that.
Yeah, where I drove a while back, 49 up toward Borden. It's really tall grass up there. I assumed it was Johnson grass. But y'all were mowing on it a few weeks ago.
Most of that up there, there's really not any Johnson grass up there. That's all come from chicken houses. Really.
It was really tall though, right before it got cut. It was a lot. I come through one side of the road, been mowed, the other side hadn't, and it was.
And that's probably just some.
It was tall, whatever it was. Anyway, that's all I got related to spray right now, is we'll just take the glyphosate out of whatever mix we're using, whether it's contractor, whether it's in-house. And,
that can be,
if we minimize our spraying, I think we can get back to the point where we'll probably do most of it in-house, if we're willing to accept liability for that. That's it, for real this time.
Real quick, what you got?
Consent agenda, public depository, the ISC agreement amendment, discretionary money from Emmett and from Terry for the parks refrigerators, $1,600 to reimburse the contractor for the county roads work through the engineer's department, co-chair and task administrator to prepare contract for sheriff's department engineer for their vehicle maintenance. New business, charter FCC challenge, tree brand water tower, take off Juneteenth and replace it with floating holiday, the C&D resolution, and no more spraying of glyphosate.
Everybody good with that? We got it covered? All right. See everybody on the 16th.
Question on here, this right here,